A fucking crimson dragon, like a blood blister come to life, clawed its way out of the lake, unleashing a roar that ripped through the air like a goddamn chainsaw. Its claws, sharper than a motherfucking razor, tore into our protagonist, tossing him back like a sack of shit. He spat out a mouthful of his own blood and hit the dirt, disbelief turning into the sickening realization he was gonna fucking die here. The dumbass, he thought of calling for help from his bitch of a girlfriend and his friend, only to be greeted with a double cross that made his stomach crawl. While he's laid out still breathing, barely managing to process what's happening, she ripped the ring right off his hand. Then he watched these cunts start licking face to begin an animalistic orgy while he bleeds out as an unwanted spectator, and with him the will to fight was the last thing to leave his cold, broken body. He jolted awake with a splitting headache. Next to him, the alarm clock was blaring. He blinked, taking in the familiar, but somehow alien surroundings of a dorm room. Then the shock hit him. He was naked, completely bare. And not only that, but he was 10 years younger. A wave of pure, unadulterated joy washed over him. He remembered the shit show that had been his life, how the damn amulet had saved him when everything went tits up. He scrambled out of bed and threw on some clothes, heading to the bathroom. As he stared at his younger, slightly less haggard face in the mirror, thoughts of revenge began to bubble up, a dark grin spreading across his face. Just then, his phone buzzed, displaying "Crazy Bitch" as the caller ID. He answered with a snarl. "What's up, crazy bitch? Long time no see." "Dude, what the fuck? We were just eating together yesterday. What are you on about?" she retorted, sounding genuinely confused. He winced, realizing he'd fucked up. He remembered now. This was the call where she tried to warn him about his girlfriend cheating. Back then, he'd been too much of a dumbass to listen. My bad, brain fart. Sorry, he mumbled. They chatted for a bit, his calmness regarding the cheating incident clearly unsettling her. He cut her off, asking, "Hey, you heard anything about that game, 8 Wastelands?" He admitted, a little too excitedly, that he was thinking about going pro. She scoffed, incredulous. He could hear the sarcasm dripping from her voice. Still, she knew he was a beast at games. "You know what, if you actually get good, you could actually have a decent future," she conceded, reluctantly. His tone turned serious. "I need to get out of this dump." He decided he was going to rent an apartment. As she was about to hang up, he blurted, "Wait." He scratched his head, feeling a bit awkward. "Any chance you could, lend me some cash?" "Hell no," she snapped, but a moment later a WeChat notification popped up on his phone. She transferred him money. "That's my gym money, you hear? If I can't go to the gym, it's on your ass." He grinned, confidence oozing out of him. "Don't worry, I'll pay you back." As midnight approached, he slipped the ring onto his index finger, the familiar weight comforting. He scanned his eye, ready to dive into the open beta of 8 Wastelands, a smirk playing on his lips. Time to get ahead of the game. The goddess Manhwa descended to the mortal realm for the first time, offering a chance encounter, only to be immediately harassed by a lecherous group. Worse still, some even dared to suggest they could make monkey babies with her. In the blink of an eye, these men were obliterated by Manhwa. The others, seeing this, recoiled in fear. But I stepped forward, directly in front of her. I knew that gaining Manhwa's favor required unwavering respect and sincerity. After a moment of silence, she finally spoke. "Mortal, do you truly desire to embark on the path of cultivation?" Without hesitation, I replied, "Yes." "Very well," she said, "then I shall grant you an opportunity." She sent a beam of radiant light into my body. I expected, if my guess was correct, to receive a mediocre talent, the business prodigy talent, best suited for a merchant. However, I had absolutely no interest in becoming a merchant. In my previous life, I was stuck with that same useless talent, barely managing to cultivate my way to the top and become the #1 anti-cultivator in the 8 Desolations. Oh well, a business prodigy it is, I suppose. A starting talent doesn't define everything. I know the 8 Desolations well enough to turn a bad hand into a victory. For some reason, the usual few-second process was taking much longer this time. The light lingered in my body for almost half a minute before finally dissipating. Just as I started to wonder, a notification finally popped up. Congratulations! You have received the Heaven-Defying Fate talent. Born against the heavens, betrayed by the heavens, contracted with the heavens. Each death permanently reduces all innate attributes by 10%. Each breakthrough to a major realm doubles all attributes. However, each breakthrough will inevitably trigger a heavenly tribulation. Failure to overcome the tribulation will result in soul annihilation. Additionally, every major breakthrough will grant you a random chicken talent, a useless talent. Finally, every major breakthrough requires completing a heavenly Tao challenge. After reading the talent description, I was ecstatic. I never expected that my talent would change after rebirth. Nuwa's voice echoed once more, "Your talent has been bestowed. Now, choose your appearance." A projection screen appeared, displaying tens of thousands of basic character models. I immediately chose the one with the highest charisma value. Last time, I had just picked a random afro hairstyle. It wasn't until I entered the game that I realized how important looks were in garnering NPC favor. Players with high charisma had an easier time taking on quests, befriending powerful NPCs, and even encountering female NPCs who wanted to engage in dual cultivation with them. After confirming my appearance, Nuwa presented a scroll. Unfurled, it revealed a map with 4 marked regions, the starting points for players. These 4 regions were each best suited for a specific type of cultivation: law, medicine, chi, and body. I didn't rush to choose a path. I needed to check my attribute panel first. My core strength, spiritual affinity, physical attributes, charisma, and aura were all at maximum. With such a start, who could compare? With a perfect starting attribute panel and my past life's experience, I could easily become the world's #1 law cultivator. But law cultivation was better suited for team battles rather than solo fights. They were easily killed. The reason I'd chosen it in the past was simply because it was what Bo Jie liked. Now, it was time to choose a different starting point. 8 Desolations wasn't just a simple virtual game. In 5 years, it would become a global phenomenon, merging with the real world. In-game powers, magical items, even NPC bosses would all come to life. The sooner I entered the game, the better my chances of gaining an advantage. As the light faded, I landed in the newbie village of the wooden immortal boat. Looking around, I saw that this beautiful village was already crowded with new players. The village was noisy. An old man stood at the village entrance. Everyone knew that he would have some quests to offer. They all jostled around him, hoping to get the first quest. I decided to avoid this chaotic situation. Instead of joining the crowd, I walked through the village. Even within the village there were many people, with players swarming, men and women, old and young alike, begging for quests. In a tailor shop, a charming seamstress was assigning a quest to another player. But when she saw me, her face lit up like sunshine. She swayed her hips and came to me with a seductive gait. "Hello there, handsome. I'm Chuan Yang, the owner of this tailor shop. Would you like a quest? I can arrange something special for you. If the quest is too difficult, I can even help you myself," she added. "My husband passed away 5 years ago, so I've been single ever since." All the players stared in disbelief. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. I, on the other hand, wasn't surprised by the effects of maximum charisma. I felt that if I cultivated good relations with this beautiful widow, I could be doing dual cultivation with her soon. "I'll look for you next time," I said, and the widow looked disappointed. She reluctantly swayed back to her shop. I quickened my pace, heading straight for the real opportunity, rather than wasting time on these tedious tasks. Near the end of the village, I finally arrived at the true opportunity spot for the newbie village, a weapons shop. Inside stood a burly, battle-hardened man, hammering away at an unfinished blade in front of his furnace. Several players were trying to talk to him, hoping to get a quest, but the man completely ignored them, focusing intently on his work. When they realized he wasn't responding, they all gave up and left. "Hey bro, don't go in there. It's just some blacksmith who doesn't talk. He's probably deaf," a kind player warned me. I nodded politely in acknowledgement before heading into the shop. I looked at the blacksmith and the furnace, Then, without saying a word, grabbed the handle of the bellows and started pumping. The flames in the furnace flared up, the temperature instantly rising. The blacksmith, who had been staring down at his work, suddenly looked up, his eyes shining. That's it, the temperature was too low. I was so focused on this blade that I didn't notice it. My apprentice is away today. No wonder the fire wasn't strong enough, he muttered. He began hammering the blade again. I continued pumping the bellows without missing a beat. After about 5 minutes, the blacksmith let out a sigh of relief. It's finally taking shape. He looked at me and chuckled. Thank you for pumping the bellows. Since you helped me, I should repay the favor. Choose a weapon from over there. I will lend it to you for one day, but you must return it. If any other player had heard this, they'd have cursed him out. I helped you so much, and you're only lending a weapon for one day? I, however, nodded calmly. Thank you. I'll just take a sword. I took the iron sword he offered and checked its attributes. Plain iron sword. A basic iron sword, plus 3 strength. Good, you're a decisive one. In that case, young man, I will lend you this sword for one day. If you can find 10 sets of green bamboo snake fangs by then, I will offer you an opportunity. No problem. I accept, I smiled, successfully taking the first step on the path to becoming a sword cultivator. After accepting the quest, I immediately left the shop. Some players, still milling about in front of the weapons shop, were stunned when they saw me carrying an iron sword. Dude, how did you get that? Tell us, one asked. Don't go anywhere until you do. I'm sick of eating crap. Ignoring their questions, I pointed towards the shop. The blacksmith just broke up with his girlfriend. You just need to sing him a love song to get him to cheer up. They were quick to believe me, immediately storming into the shop. They then proceeded to showcase their moving vocals to the blacksmith. Their singing sounded like a dying duck mating with a mother pig, causing the blacksmith to freak out. Get out, he yelled. The players were unceremoniously kicked out of the shop, one after the other. I checked my map and headed southeast to the bamboo forest. The bamboo forest was quiet, save for the rustling of the bamboo leaves. It seemed empty at first glance, but upon closer inspection, I could see slender, vibrant green snakes coiled around the branches. Their bodies were so close in color to the bamboo that it was difficult to distinguish them. The moment the green bamboo snake noticed my presence, it flicked its tongue and attacked. I wasn't foolish enough to wait to be bitten. I gripped the sword and spun it in a flourish, striking the snake on its tongue about 7 inches down. Every creature had its weak points. Hitting those weak points would result in much higher damage. This attack was enough to deplete the snake's health bar, instantly killing it. A wisp of blue light flew into my body, plus 3 cultivation. Cultivation was like experience points. You have obtained low-grade green bamboo snake bow, low-grade green bamboo snake sword, low-grade snake skin storage pouch. I was surprised. The equipment drop rate was exceptionally low in 8 desolations, especially for weaker monsters. Even if you get the drop, it's even lower for weak ones. But my shock was fleeting. It had to be my maxed-out aura at work. I continued weaving through the bamboo forest, slaughtering snakes. I soon returned to the weapons shop. After turning in the quest items, the blacksmith gave me a letter. This is what I wanted. This was the key to joining a sect, the opportunity he had mentioned. But this letter requires more than just small talk. The sect you want to join depends on the weapon you chose earlier. Before leaving, I'd asked the blacksmith how many others had received this letter. He shook his head, saying that I was the only one so far. I chuckled. I was the first one to get it. Others were still wasting time trying to get quests from random NPCs. They had no idea how this game really works. I couldn't waste any more time with these newbies. I needed to get to a sect quickly. But before leaving, I had one more thing to do. I went to the most crowded part of the village, took out the green bamboo snake bow, and shouted, "Come one, come all, clearance sale. Want to become stronger? Want better equipment? The first green bamboo snake bow in the server is up for auction. Highest bidder wins." The game had just launched, and very few players were able to find equipment. Even if they did, they would be reluctant to sell it. So, this shout brought many players to my location. Wow, this bow. It adds +2 agility, and it comes with poison arrows. This can also stack. dealing extra damage over time. What kind of monster can survive this? Leveling up will be easy. I bid 500 gold. 1,000. 1,500. 1,800. The price quickly climbed to over 5,000. The auction attracted more and more players. I bid 50,000. A group of female players, all stunningly beautiful, walked over. The woman in the lead, with short hair, was particularly captivating. Her eyebrows were sharply defined, her face clear and elegant. Her figure was demonic, and she radiated an exceptional aura. The moment they arrived, all the male players became entranced. 50,000, the short-haired woman stated calmly. I was excited at this price. That was a good fit. I was just about to make the trade when another group appeared. Leading them was none other than Wang Jinghao, the leader of the Everything Guild. I bid 60,000. Wang Jinghao had a history with me. In my past life, when I climbed into the top 10 of the Sky ranking, his guild had tried to recruit me. I was too direct and refused them immediately. This caused the young master of the Everything Guild to hold a grudge against me, causing me no end of grief. If I were my old self, I would have ignored him and walked away. But after being reborn, my personality had changed. Wang Jinghao looked like he had already claimed the bow as his. My guild needs this bow. I won't be polite, he said. He was about to reach for it when the short-haired woman bid again, 70,000. Wang Jinghao wasn't one to back down either. 100,000. 200,000. The short-haired woman was clearly not someone to be trifled with. It was as if she was deliberately provoking Wang Jinghao. 250,000. 300,000. 500,000. This offer caused a stir among the players. Wow, 500,000 for a beginner weapon. These rich people are crazy. Wang Jinghao finally lost his composure. He glared at the short-haired woman with a cold look. Are you sure you want to go against me? The woman glanced at him. Highest bidder wins. How can you call it going against you? Does that mean no one else can want what you want? Fine. Very well. Wang Jinghao said coldly before turning to leave. But then I called out to him. Brother Wang, wait. I've heard of the Everything Group for a long time. If you're willing to pay 500,000, the bow is yours. Wang Jinghao immediately agreed. Excellent. You're a smart one, Brother Lin. We're friends now. Send me your account details, and I'll transfer the money right away. Once you get the money, give me the weapon. After getting the money, I gave the green bamboo snake bow and over 100 poison arrows to Wang Jinghao. I chuckled to myself as he walked away. He had just spent 500,000 to save face and was counting the money for me. He would soon realize that the poison arrows were limited, and once they were used, he had no way to replenish them. What's more, he would use this bow to do a bunch of useless newbie quests, wasting time and taking the long way around. You broke your promise. You said highest bidder wins. The short-haired woman looked at me with anger. You look like a man, but you're actually a despicable opportunist. You're a lackey for the Everything Group. She then led her group away. It seemed that I had angered them by intentionally tricking them. I should probably try and compensate them. So, I followed the short-haired woman into the boar forest. When they got there, they immediately started farming boars. What do you want? The short-haired woman looked at me with distaste. I ignored her gaze and cut straight to the chase. Can we talk privately? It'll only take a couple of minutes. She cautiously gripped her weapon. What do you want? Just say it. I smiled like a seasoned merchant. I'm selling some information. 500,000 for a secret that will give your guild a head start over all the others. She scoffed. Why wouldn't you sell this to Wang Jinghao? I waved my hand. He's a piece of trash, and I was just putting on a show for him. I'm just a nobody trying to make a living. The short-haired woman looked at me and thought for a moment. What if what you said is true? If I don't buy it, wouldn't I miss out on a golden opportunity? If you try to trick me, you'll see what happens when you anger the Moon Shadow Guild. Send me your account. I grinned and sent her my account details. 1 million gold already. Not bad. This money will be useful, even after the game merges with reality. After receiving the money, I told her about the blacksmith's hidden quest, including how to trigger it. I warned her to keep it a secret, lest the information become worthless. The quest itself wasn't worth much, but the reward was incredibly valuable. When she saw the letter, her expression changed. This is a sect letter? I nodded. That's right. Only with this can you find the sect and become a disciple. I've told you everything I know. Now it's up to you. The short-haired woman asked suspiciously, "Why did you sell such important information to me?" I said without hesitation, "I don't know. I guess it's because you're cute." She rolled her eyes. Her feelings of hostility completely disappeared. Just then, a panicked cry came from behind us. "Wanling, help. We're doomed. I think we've found a boss. That boar is so much bigger than the others." Upon hearing the commotion, she immediately turned around. She saw a massive boar emerge from the forest. It was 4 or 5 times bigger than a regular boar, like a tank on the rampage. Several female players were unable to dodge and were killed on the spot, sent back to the newbie village to respawn. "Quick, retreat. We don't have enough people to kill this boss," she ordered. I stepped forward. "You guys are really lucky, running into the biggest boss in the newbie village. If you're going to give up on this boss, I'll take it. Oh, and since I sold my bow, can I borrow your arrows?" The short-haired woman didn't believe I was capable, but she threw me her arrows anyway. "Do what you want. If you die, it will be your own fault." I took the arrows. "Thanks," I said, before disappearing from her sight. She and her subordinates watched me go. Is she trying to get herself killed? Yeah. Is she trying to show off in front of Wanling? Maybe. She is pretty handsome, a good match for Wanling. You bunch of gossiping girls. Do you want to be punished? Wanling was exasperated by their teasing. I reached the Boar King. If only I had waited to sell that bow. It would have been easier with the green snake bow. Well, it's going to be a little more difficult now. But not impossible, I muttered. I was about to prove what fearless really meant. I charged at the Boar King, which was many times bigger than me, and thrust my sword forward. The iron sword left a clear white mark on the Boar King's forehead, but it didn't break the skin. I was a little annoyed by the lack of damage. I was striking its weakest point, and it still only did 1 point of damage. Head-on fighting wouldn't work. I had to be smarter. The Boar King stomped the ground with its thick tree trunk-like legs, charging straight at me. The ground trembled beneath my feet. I pretended to be scared and ran in a ridiculous manner. The short-haired woman and her subordinates couldn't help but laugh. "She's not going to make it," she said. She was right, but I didn't want to run. I was just baiting the Boar King, luring it towards the mountain wall. When I reached the wall, the Boar King was almost upon me. I could feel the ground shaking more and more violently under my feet. At the last moment, I rolled out of the way. The Boar King, unable to stop, crashed its face and tusks headfirst into the mountainside. The sound of the impact was deafening, like a cannon exploding. The force of the crash caused the Boar King to take damage. -50 appeared above its head. It shook its head to try and clear the dizziness. But that was just the start. The impact with the wall caused numerous rocks to fall, hitting the Boar King. Numbers popped up over and over again above its head. Its health bar had dropped by 1/4 in a short amount of time. I took cover behind a tree to avoid the falling rocks. Seeing that they stopped and the Boar King was still dazed, I charged again. I struck its wound with all my might, making it deeper with every strike. The Boar King's health was rapidly decreasing. The pain made it go berserk. It charged at me again, mad with rage. I used the same tactic, backing up against the wall. Once again, it smashed into the wall. I leaped into the air, gripped my sword tightly, and with the force of my body weight, I pierced the Boar King's wound. The Boar King, once an invincible newbie boss, fell dead. After the Boar King died, a beam of light, dozens of times more intense than the one from the green bamboo snake, shot into my body. You have gained +70 cultivation. Level up. You have reached the early chi refining stage. Your heaven-defying fate talent has been triggered. All attributes are doubled. You have received a random talent. Random talent confirmed. Bloodseed. Increases maximum health by 10%. This talent can be upgraded 3 times. Reaching the chi refining stage meant I had officially started the path of cultivation, becoming an immortal. The surge of power flowing through me was like a soothing rain after a long drought. All my fatigue vanished. Congratulations on achieving the first kill of a newbie village boss. Your achievement will be announced globally. Do you want to hide your name? No, I don't need to hide my name. After I made my choice, all the players on the server received a notification from the official system. Congratulations to player Lin Jichin for achieving the first kill of a boss in 8 Desolations. You have been rewarded with 200 reputation and +1 innate luck. Other players, please continue your endeavors. This announcement sent shockwaves through the player community. The game had only just launched, and someone had already killed a boss? The short-haired woman and her subordinates had yet to recover from their surprise. I, on the other hand, was busy collecting the loot. Low-grade Crimson Cloud Sword, low-grade Shining Light Staff, and 0 copper coins. The sky began to darken as black clouds gathered. Warning: a heavenly tribulation will descend in 30 minutes. Please prepare carefully. The side effect of the heaven-defying fate talent had arrived. Every major breakthrough triggered a heavenly tribulation. If I failed, my soul would be destroyed. I needed to get to the sect quickly. Maybe some powerful people there could save me. I ran towards the sect entrance. The dark clouds in the sky followed me. There was no way I could withstand a heavenly tribulation with my current power. I could only hope that someone would be willing to help me. Soon, I arrived at the entrance of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. Disciple Lin Jichin requests to join, I shouted, before rushing inside. Why is he running so fast? Is he trying to kill himself? A guard muttered, before looking up and noticing the sky. Hey, did the sky just change? Sensing the pressure of the tribulation, more and more streaks of light soared from all directions within the sect. Every streak of light was a powerful figure, their aura unfathomable. A moment later, a white-robed figure appeared from the sect. It was a woman, breathtakingly beautiful. Her face was so elegant. She had a pair of phoenix eyes that sparkled with intelligence and command. This was none other than Longfian, the famous sect leader of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. Why is a heavenly tribulation forming over our sect? Has one of the elders' disciples reached a breakthrough? Her voice was as soothing as a zither, yet carried an unquestionable authority. Everyone shook their heads, saying they had no idea. Just as they were beginning to speculate, my desperate voice reached them. New disciple Lin Jichin, please, great ones, save me. The moment I finished speaking, the tribulation arrived. A bolt of lightning, as thick as a human arm, tore through the clouds and shot directly towards my head. Knowing that there was no way I could withstand this, I cried out for help, hoping that someone would be willing to lend a hand. Then, a beam of light appeared, enveloping me. It formed a shield around me, completely blocking the heavenly lightning. The terrifying power of the tribulation had no effect on me. It didn't even cause a ripple before disappearing. Seeing this, I finally relaxed. Thank heavens I didn't die. But while I survived, I had gotten myself in big trouble. All the elders, including Longfian, looked at me with astonishment. A tribulation at the early chi refining stage? This was unprecedented. This kid is a prodigy, blessed by the heavens. The more talented you are, the sooner you encounter heavenly tribulation. They began to get ideas. Who wouldn't want to take such a talented disciple as their apprentice? If he became a powerful cultivator in the future, they would get a lot of credit. This disciple has not been accepted yet. How about he becomes my student? I'll teach him well. Elder Xiaoyu, you're a female cultivator. Teaching a male disciple might not be very convenient. Why not come to me? Elder Qingsong, you already have so many disciples. Don't try to steal him from us. I was secretly happy to see so many elders fighting over me, but I had to keep my composure and act humble. Enough. Longfian interrupted. This new disciple will join my sect. Everyone fell silent. But sect leader, you never taken disciples, they asked. Since she had broken her rule, no one dared to object. Longfian's gaze shifted to me. Are you willing to become this sect leader's closed-door disciple? If you follow me to the inner sanctum, you'll surely obtain the greatest opportunity that our sect has to offer. Sect leader Longfian of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect wishes to take you as her closed-door disciple. Do you accept? Disciple is willing. I responded without hesitation. I had to rely on a powerful backer. And who better than the sect leader? Not only that, but Fian's legs were so smooth, white, and long. I followed Long Fian to the inner sanctum of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. The Sword Palace in the inner sanctum is the heart of our sect. Other than meetings, it's only used by disciples who come up here to clean in the mornings. From today onward, you'll cultivate here, she said. I will arrange for a disciple to bring you the sect's new disciple package and show you to your living quarters. Come to the main hall to see me at dawn tomorrow. With that, Long Fian left. I scratched my head. It seems my sect leader is a bit cold. I wondered how other players would be treated by her. An hour later, I was bored. The disciple she had sent still hadn't arrived. So, I decided to leave the main hall myself and explore the backyard. The palace was enormous. Maybe there were some hidden quests to find. As I was wandering around, a beautiful palace came into view. I opened the door, wanting to take a look. But as soon as I stepped inside, a cold voice sounded. Who allowed you to trespass in this sect leader's palace? I was immediately stunned. What? This is the sect leader's palace? Sect leader, my apologies, I said. Before I could finish my sentence, Long Fian coldly released a burst of spiritual energy. It struck the ground in front of me, the force sending me flying backwards. I landed on the ground, coughing up blood. I had taken a severe blow. My health had dropped to a single point. Seeing Long Fian approach me with a cold look, I quickly knelt down and explained. The disciple you sent hasn't arrived yet, so I wanted to get familiar with my surroundings. I accidentally trespassed into your palace. It was not intentional. I was really unlucky. I had to make sure this didn't affect the sect leader's favor of me. Long Fian's expression softened after hearing my explanation. Very well. You are new. For now, I will not punish you, she said. However, without my permission, you are never to trespass here again. She then tossed me a pill. Profound bottle purple jade pill. Within 5 minutes, all battle attributes will increase by 30 points. In a non-combat state, it can restore 3,000 health points. The sect leader is very generous. She just threw a Xian Ping pill at me. It's probably better to save the pill for now. It will be useful during a fight. I'd rather just wait for my health to regenerate. Just then, the sound of bells could be heard. A blue-clad girl came running towards me. Little junior brother, why don't you come and greet your senior sister? Her name was mangaMangacapped. She was the disciple who had been sent to guide me. I smiled and greeted her. Junior brother Linjichin at your service. She chuckled. Not bad, not bad. My name is mangaMangacapped. I'm at the late core formation stage. Senior sister will protect you from now on. mangaMangacapped's affection towards you has increased by 10. Current affection level, 10. You have met someone with mutual interests. I was elated. Not only was this senior sister beautiful, but she was also very powerful. Junior brother is completely in awe of senior sister, I said. mangaMangacapped blushed at my praise. You're quite the flatterer, little junior brother. I was unashamed. Cultivation requires more than just practice. Working hard is not as good as sucking up. mangaMangacapped laughed. mangaMangacapped's affection towards you has increased by 5. Current affection level, 15. You are having a pleasant conversation. The affection system between players and NPCs was different. Triggered quests and opportunities would vary. Affection was divided into 9 levels. Further, there were 2 different tiers for each level based on whether it was with someone of the same or opposite gender. Usually, if you got to the soulmates stage with an NPC of the opposite gender, you would unlock physical contact. At the love and marriage levels, you could become bonded to them as a partner, allowing dual cultivation. However, NPC affection was notoriously difficult to raise. In my past life, there was a player who fell in love with a female NPC from another sect. He tried to cultivate her affection for many years, but to no avail. Now, I had already raised her affection by 15 points within minutes. It was unbelievable. Just as I was thinking, a cough of blood erupted from my chest. mangaMangacapped was immediately concerned. What happened? It's nothing, I replied. I just got lost in the backyard trying to find my living quarters. I accidentally wandered into the sect leader's palace and was injured. mangaMangaCapped was full of guilt. It's my fault. The sect leader asked me to take you to your quarters, but I was reading some romance novels and got distracted. Here, take this chi-boosting pill. She shoved a bottle of pills into my hands. I chuckled to myself. Another freebie. I accepted them. It's not your fault, senior sister. It was my fault for wandering around. mangaMangaCapped was moved by my kindness. You're helping me even when you're hurt. Little junior brother, you're so kind. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you has increased by 5. Current affection level, 20. You are having a pleasant conversation. Let's see. This jade pendant is my way of making it up to you. It was a low-grade giant spirit jade pendant, plus 10 defense, plus 5 heart protection, plus 1% defense per second out of combat. Skill, spiritual shield. During combat, it creates a force field that blocks one skill attack from an enemy below the crystallization realm. This skill only works against skills. Cooldown, 15 minutes. This jade pendant was a top-tier item among low-grade equipment. That spiritual shield skill was incredibly useful. Thank you so much, senior sister. She seemed to be pleased when I called her senior sister. She was the youngest disciple in the inner sect. She had never been called senior sister. This is nothing. I have lots of treasures, she giggled. Come, I'll take you to your living quarters. Basic new player gear is there. I followed her with a grin. Haha, it's a good thing I know how to act. How else would a newbie like me get so many treasures? Guided by mangaMangaCapped, I finally found my living quarters. It was equipped with an Earth-grade spirit gathering array. The speed at which I absorbed spiritual energy during meditation was much faster. Even my father only has a Shin-grade spirit gathering array. I'm so jealous of you, mangaMangaCapped said. The fact that I had an Earth-grade spirit gathering array in my living quarters was surprising. Players could choose to meditate in a safe area while offline, increasing their cultivation. This was called AFK leveling. However, this was a very slow way of increasing your power unless you found an area filled with spiritual energy. If not, then using a spirit gathering array was a good alternative. Could this be a special arrangement for me? I wondered. Well, that's the end of my task. See you, little junior brother, mangaMangaCapped said. With the Earth-grade spirit gathering array, I was able to absorb spiritual energy 300% faster than normal. Since my cultivation talent was already maxed out, I was already absorbing spiritual energy extremely fast. At this rate, I would reach maximum cultivation for the early chi refining stage in 3 hours of AFK leveling. Seeing that there was nothing else to do, and Lung Fian had told me to see her at dawn tomorrow, I decided to get into my living quarters and do some AFK leveling. Then, I would log out and return to the real world. When I opened my eyes, it was 5 a.m. I hadn't felt sleepy at all, despite playing all night. I was just filled with excitement. In just 5 hours, I had made over $1 million. It felt amazing. I then opened the game's official website and ordered a game pod. What was the point of having money if I didn't spend it? In a few years, the value of real-world money would plummet. I skipped the standard and high-end models, going straight for the top-of-the-line game pod. I ordered 2 of them, one for myself and another as a surprise for Renlon. The 2 game pods cost me $1 million. I sent a message to Renlon, asking him to come to my place when he woke up, along with my location. Renlon replied with a yawn, clearly just waking up. What do you want me to do so early? I was about to go for a run on the school track. He was a fitness fanatic. He had to run for an hour or 2 every morning, followed by boxing and a session in the gym in the afternoon. I laughed and replied, nothing much. I just wanted to show you my new apartment. Renlon walked in with a yawn. After looking around, he praised the apartment. Little Lin, you sure know how to enjoy yourself. This place has to cost at least $5,000 or $6,000 a month. You're such a spendthrift. You just wasted my gym money like that. I intentionally teased him. What else was I supposed to do? I can't pay you back anyway, so I might as well spend it all. Then you won't have to worry about your money anymore. What did you say? Renlon transformed into a raging tiger and lunged at me, grabbing my neck. You ungrateful bastard. You wasted my gym money. If I can't get my money back, I'm going to use you as a punching bag today. As the fierce tigress moved to attack, I panicked and tried to explain. But as she was choking me, I could barely get a word out. We were pressed tightly against each other, causing a physical reaction. When Renlon realized what was happening, she let me go, stunned. Her face instantly turned red. Lin Jichin, you dare to take advantage of me. I'll punch you to the moon. Just as she was about to attack, the doorbell rang. Mr. Lin, your game pods have arrived. Please open the door. I looked at Renlan with a pitiful expression. I made some money in the game, so I bought a game pod for you. If you don't let me go, I'll return it. Renlan was taken aback. Don't return it. If you bought it, you can't return it. The 2 game pods were quickly delivered. I guided the delivery men to install them in 2 different bedrooms. The school dormitory was too small. So, I had reserved a room for Renlan. After apologizing to me, Renlan immediately rushed into her new bedroom, excited beyond words. Money really could solve 99% of problems. I needed to get back in the game and make some more money. Time quickly passed, and the next day, the sect leader came to find me as I was still training in the spirit gathering array. You're about to break through again in just a few hours. I bowed respectfully. Thank you for the praise, sect leader. However, my cultivation is stuck at the early chi refining stage. I don't know how to progress further. Long Fian took out a purple pill. It was emitting an intense spiritual aura. I have a top-grade chi gathering pill. If you take it, you'll be able to reach the middle chi refining stage. I immediately smiled and held out my hand. Thank you, sect leader. Long Fian didn't give it to me right away. Instead, she patiently lectured me. While you are very talented, you must understand that true strength requires more than just cultivation and power. You also need experience in battle. I wholeheartedly agreed. Images of my past life flashed in my mind. You're right, sect leader. A flower grown in a greenhouse isn't fit to walk the path of immortality. Only a tree that grows in a storm can truly live forever. I had discovered in my past life that this game had a very high skill ceiling. Cultivation could be bought with real money, but battle experience could only be gained through practical combat. Long Fian's eyes lit up with approval. It's rare to hear someone with such insight. You are far more mature than I expected. Long Fian's affection towards you has increased by 5. Current affection level, 5. You have met someone with mutual interests. I was secretly thrilled. It seemed that I had already started gaining favor from my sect leader. At this rate, it wouldn't be impossible to win her over. Calm down, calm down. I need to become the #1 sword cultivator. I can't allow myself to get distracted by romance, I thought. Long Fian then instructed me. Go to the quest hall in the outer sect. Choose a difficult chi refining quest. If you succeed, this giant spirit pill will be yours. Before you go, I will pass down our sect's core technique, Heavenly Eye Heart Sutra. All disciples in the Heavenly Eye Sword sect must learn this. The higher you cultivate it, the more benefit you will gain. I expect you to practice diligently. I accepted the scroll and thanked her. While the Heavenly Eye Heart Sutra was something all disciples in the sect could learn, those in the outer sect had to complete a quest to do so. I was already learning it for free. I left the inner sect and returned to the outer sect. There were more players here now. The sect letter quest wasn't exactly hidden. Most players would figure it out if they put their minds to it. I knew that the sect would get more and more crowded, but that was fine. I had already gained the advantage of becoming an inner disciple. Handsome senior brother. I heard a voice behind me. Many male players turned around, thinking they were being called. I turned around as well, and saw that it was Su Wanling, the rich girl. She had joined the sect as well. It's great to see you again. It's good to have friends. I nodded to her. It's a pleasure to see you. I prefer to use swords, so the Heavenly Eye Sword sect was the obvious choice, she replied. I understand. I need to do some quests now. Let's talk later. I left without wasting any time. I had to head for the quest hall. Su Wanling muttered, this guy, he just left before I finished my sentence. I quickly arrived at the quest hall. It was a large wooden board covered with wooden tags. Each tag had a different quest written on it. The quest difficulties ranged from simple, normal, difficult, very difficult, to hell. The NPC responsible for posting quests advised me to start with quests within my abilities. I nodded and started looking around. The quests at the bottom were the simplest, collecting herbs, killing ordinary animals, or assisting various sect departments. It would be a complete waste of time to choose them. The next tier of quest was slightly more challenging, involving the hunting of chi refining level monsters. They didn't do much to increase combat experience. I wanted to just choose a difficult quest and get it done, but a special tag among the hell level quests caught my eye. This quest was located in Fengsu City. Special quests often unlocked unique rewards. I had already learned the Heavenly Eye Heart Sutra, which gave me a 5% bonus to all combat attributes. My familiarity with Fengtu City would be very helpful. After considering all of this, I decided to take the tag. Hell-level quest. Help the Heavenly Eye Sword sect retrieve a stolen secret technique. Quest description. A chi refining level disciple named Zhang Hai was murdered on a mission. The sect's secret technique he was carrying was stolen. Avenge Zhang Hai and retrieve the secret technique. Quest reward. Low-grade spiritual stones, sect contribution points, high-grade chi boosting pill, 1 low-grade weapon, and 1 low-grade armor. No one dared to take on this quest. Most players hadn't even reached the early chi refining stage, and they were all still ordinary mortals. What's more, the quest said that the target was in the late chi refining stage. Who would dare to touch a quest like that? The players around me laughed when they saw me take the tag. Are you kidding me? The target is in the late chi refining stage. You're going to die, they thought. They couldn't believe I was choosing a quest that was so far beyond my level. And I didn't even know the target's location. A hopeless quest. He's going to get his face smashed in, they all said. Their words didn't bother me. After leaving the sect, I headed straight to Fengtu City and went to the most famous restaurant, the Celestial Pavilion. The moment I stepped in, a beautiful waitress came over to greet me. Oh, a celestial from the Heavenly Eye Sword sect has arrived. Please come in, honored guest. Would you like a room or something to eat? I want to eat, I replied before finding a seat in the main hall. As evening approached, more and more customers arrived, making the restaurant lively. A scholar-like man was telling stories, entertaining the guests. He wasn't just telling stories. He was also giving the latest news from around Musianzhou. For example, the extreme cold bone and flower fairy was marrying the grand elder of the Red Sun sect. Also, the Golden Blade sect was wiped out yesterday by a demonic sect. He knew everything that was going on in 8 Desolations, earning tips for his stories. I had come here to find news about Zhang Hai's murder. After patiently listening, I finally got what I wanted. A disciple of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect, Zhang Hai, was killed while training. The culprit was Zhou Hao, a demonic cultivator at the late chi refining stage. He is ruthless and vicious. An hour later, the man finished his story and collected his tips. I immediately followed him, paying 5 low-grade spirit stones for information on Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao is a lecher. He often hangs around the flowery lane in Fengtu City. You might find him there. Although Zhou Hao is just a loose cultivator in the late chi refining stage, his older brother, Zhou is in the Foundation establishment realm. Be careful. I thanked him and rushed to the biggest red light district in Fengtu City, the Autumn Moon Tower. The most amazing thing about 8 Desolations was its realism. With enough money, you can spend the night with a courtesan. The 100% virtual reality experience felt no different from the real thing. Zhou Hao was a regular here. It was easy to find out what he looked like. I found an inconspicuous corner and waited patiently. After half an hour, Zhou Hao finally emerged, humming a tune as he walked out of the city. It was dark, with only the moonlight providing a faint glow. As Zhou Hao walked, he suddenly felt something was wrong. He turned around abruptly and shouted, "Who's there?" I didn't hide myself anymore. "I'm here to kill you." Knowing that I was only a newbie in the early chi refining stage, Zhou Hao wasn't afraid. "So, you're a Heavenly Eye Sword sect disciple? Did you really think you can get revenge on me? I'm done playing with you." He attacked first, his body moving with incredible speed. His muscles tensed, and the blade in his hand shone. He swung his blade towards me. I pulled out my crimson red sword, dodged calmly to the side, and quickly moved out of range. Zhou Hao went on the offensive, using the momentum of his previous attack to do a swift arc. I didn't dodge, and instead met his blade head-on. Zhou Hao was no match for me in strength. I sent him stumbling backwards. "Impossible. You're only in the early chi refining stage. How can you be so strong?" I laughed. "It's not that I'm too strong, it's that you're too weak." Zhou Hao was furious. He immediately gathered his spiritual energy into his blade. Yellow blade slash. A powerful, blood-red blade light cut through the air. It flashed through the moonlight. But just before the attack could hit me, a translucent shield appeared in front of me. The attack struck it and then vanished along with the shield. I was unharmed. The shield skill that Nan Gongwei gave me was truly useful, but it needed to be used at the right moment, or it would be difficult to use effectively. Having seen his attack blocked, Zhou Hao quickly realized that I had defensive equipment. His eyes gleamed with greed. "I didn't expect you to have so many treasures. It seems you were favored by your sect. Hand over your treasures, and I might spare your life." I stared at him as if he were an idiot. "Who gave you the courage?" "I'm here to take your life." Zhou Hao attacked again, his blade moving at a speed that was difficult to see, a whirlwind of power. However, he became more and more frantic as he realized that he couldn't hit me. I was just too fast. I can't keep going like this, or I'll fall into his trap, he thought. Zhou Hao, no longer wanting to fight, swung his blade and retreated. I used the chance to strike, wielding my Crimson Cloud Sword, quickly leaving a trail of blood on Zhou Hao's shoulder. One casual strike and blood already spilled. His information panel appeared. No wonder he was no match for me. With stats this low, how did he make it to the late Qi refining stage? A rogue cultivator is a rogue cultivator. They don't have a solid foundation or the resources of a sect. No wonder they are so weak. After taking the hit, Zhou Hao's expression was completely different. Within a few breaths, he had 4 or 5 more wounds on his body. Weakling, hand over the secret technique of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. As I said this, I sensed danger behind me. I immediately dodged away. A moment later, a blade light 10 times thicker than Zhou Hao sliced through the air where I had been standing. A burly figure stepped out of the woods. He looked similar to Zhou Hao but had a much more powerful aura. Zhou Hao was overjoyed when he saw him. "Brother, save me. I'm being hunted. You're out of luck. You've met my brother. I'm going to make you pay 100-fold for the wounds you gave me." I ignored his words, focusing on the man before me. His aura was that of someone in the foundation establishment stage. He was even stronger than I thought. Zhou Shin stepped forward. He didn't seem to think of me as much of a threat. Instead, he scolded Zhou Hao. "I told you to stay put and not come out. If I hadn't noticed you were gone, you would be dead today." Zhou Hao admitted his mistake. "Brother, I'm sorry. I won't come out again. Help me get revenge first. I was beaten so badly." Zhou Shin finally looked at me. His eyes were filled with contempt. "Hand over your treasures, and I might consider letting you die a quick death. Otherwise, you will wish you were never born." I stood still, not replying. I saw Zhou Hao trying to take out a pill. I took the opportunity to quickly swing my sword. They couldn't believe I dared to attack again. Completely unprepared, Zhou Hao was struck through the neck. He let out a painful scream as he fell to the ground. The pills he was about to take were scattered all over. "You're courting death," Zhou Shin roared. I mocked him. "It seems your brother doesn't understand that villains die from talking too much. Besides, my goal was to kill both of you and take double the loot." "You're next, Zhou Shin." My provocation enraged Zhou Shin. He instantly vanished, reappearing right in front of me. A black, strangely shaped blade struck my shoulder, leaving a deep wound that gushed blood. -220 appeared above my head, revealing the stats of my opponent. Rogue Cultivator Zhou Shin, Class, Blade Cultivator, Skills, Wide Moon Blade, Breaking Slash, 100 Flame Slash, Basic, Movement Technique, Shadow Clone Step, Realm, Early Foundation Establishment. He was a much tougher opponent than Zhou Hao. Before I could respond, Zhou Shin attacked again. I could only defend. In an instant, the two figures were locked in combat. The sounds of blade meeting sword echoed through the forest. I relied on my combat experience and predicted Zhou Shin's movements. I was barely able to block his attacks. Seeing his attacks blocked, Zhou Shin lost his composure. He was in the foundation establishment stage, yet he couldn't defeat a newbie in the early Qi refining stage. This was a disgrace. He had lost his patience, and his blade blurred, moving faster. Breaking Slash. I wasn't able to dodge the attack. My health dropped dramatically. I regretted not using my spiritual shield earlier. It would have blocked that blow. Fortunately, Shadow Step only had a 10-second cooldown. I immediately used it to create some distance between us. Zhou Shin wasn't going to let me escape. He used his Shadow Clone Step. 3 Zhou Shins appeared, attacking me from 3 sides. 2 were illusions. They moved faster than me. In my past life, I had fought against many clone techniques. They all appeared to be the same but had subtle differences. The real one would always have light in their eyes, while illusions were always dull and lifeless. The real one was always in the middle. I swung my Crimson Cloud Sword at the middle Zhou Shin without hesitation. Zhou Shin had never expected me to find his real body so quickly. Before he could react, my sword struck him in the chest. -55. Armor breaking activated. For 5 seconds, his armor was reduced by 50%. This was incredibly useful. I had to take advantage of it and attack again. -110. After 2 consecutive hits, Zhou Shin roared in anger. He used his spiritual energy to knock me away. "If you try to bully me, don't be mad when I strike back." Zhou Shin's blade spun around him like a swarm of insects, creating a hurricane of blades. Even though I was using my sword to block, My low stats made it difficult. I was getting cut again and again. I was already at a disadvantage, facing an enemy a whole realm above me, without having learned any sword techniques. I only had a movement technique and the spiritual shield. The spiritual shield was still on cooldown. I was starting to regret my actions. My health had dropped by a third. If this kept up, I would die. After considering my options, I took out the pill that Long Fian had given me. Within 5 minutes, all battle attributes will increase by 30 points. In a non-combat state, it can restore 3,000 health points. I hated to use it, but I had to rely on it to save my life. After swallowing the pill, my body immediately began to heat up. My spiritual energy surged. Heat flowed through me. I felt like I was full of power. Joshin was confused. He mocked me. You can still laugh even though you're about to die? I wonder if you'll still be laughing when you get to the underworld. He then used the wide moon blade again. But this time, I didn't try to block. I let the blade hit me. Joshin was shocked. How can you block my attacks? This pill has to be a rare treasure. You must have lots of items. But it doesn't matter. The effects of the pill will eventually wear off. When that happens, you're going to die. I grinned. You're right. The pill has a time limit. So I just need to kill you before the effects run out. Before he could react, my sword was upon him. With all of my attributes increased by 30, I was a completely different person. My speed was now far beyond Joshin's ability to react. He tried to retreat. But before he could get away, I was upon him. My Crimson Cloud sword was like a ghost, constantly attacking him. Joshin was taking heavy hits. The situation was suddenly reversed. This guy is a key member of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. I can't let him escape, or there will be terrible consequences. Joshin roared. His blade suddenly expanded to dozens of times its original size. The blade gleamed with power, ready to strike me down. At the last moment, I used Shadow Step, leaving an afterimage in my place. The blade struck only air. I used the movement skill to get close to Joshin. As he was still trying to recover, I swung my sword across his throat. Blood poured out. A fatal blow. Minus 466. Joshin froze, his throat gushing blood. He then lost consciousness and fell to the ground. You have completed the Hell level quest. Please return to the sect to receive your reward. After the battle, I quickly took out Nan Gong-Yue's pill to heal myself. After recovering, I immediately began collecting the loot, before heading back to the sect. Wait, there was something else I needed to do. After collecting the loot, I didn't immediately go back to the sect. This was my first quest outside the sect. I should buy the sect leader a gift. It was the thought that counts, especially in this traditional world. Respect for your master was crucial. Also, maybe a gift would increase her affection for me. But what should I get her? I decided to get her a jade hairpin. I bought a simple gift and returned to the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. There were more players here now. The outer sect was full of unfamiliar faces. I went to the quest hall and turned in the tag. The surrounding players were confused. They were all curious about what I had done. No way. Did this guy finish a Hell level quest? Impossible. You need to be at least in the late chi refining stage to even attempt a quest like that. After confirming that I had finished the quest manager fawned over me. He was clearly trying to curry favor. Junior brother, you are indeed an elite disciple of the inner sect. Your future is limitless. May your future endeavors be full of success. These are your rewards, including 100 low-grade spiritual stones. Please keep them safe. The sight of 100 spiritual stones made the players around me green with envy. Most players had less than 10 stones. Most quests only rewarded a few spiritual stones. Many players recognized the badge. It was used to record sect contribution. Some keen-eyed players saw that the badge said 100 points. They couldn't help but mutter that they would have to do at least 10 quests to get that many contribution points. Many players wanted to befriend me and asked me to join their guilds. After politely refusing, I quickly ran towards the inner sanctum. The guards didn't stop me. They bowed respectfully. As for the other players, they could only dream of entering the inner sanctum. If they dared to take a single step inside, they would be severely punished by the sect. I quickly went to the main hall. Sect leader, I have returned. Long Fian was wearing a light blue robe, which revealed her delicate collarbone. Her voice was as enchanting as ever. Disciple, I heard you finished the Hell level quest. I only told you to pick a difficult quest. Why did you choose such a dangerous one? If you had failed, the sect would have lost one of its geniuses. I quickly admitted my mistake. I was wrong. Sect leader, your teachings are correct. Long Fian nodded, satisfied. What was the cultivation level of your opponents? I explained the situation with Zhou Hao and Zhou Shen. I thought they would only be in the early chi refining stage. I didn't expect him to have a brother in the foundation establishment stage. Long Fian's eyes lit up with surprise. You fought someone in the foundation establishment stage and still managed to win. You have truly surpassed all expectations. I bowed respectfully and truthfully replied, I wouldn't dare to lie. It was all thanks to the pill that you gave me, sect leader. Without it, I would have died. Long Fian nodded again, her eyes filling with appreciation. The difference between realms is huge. You must be more careful in the future and don't act rashly. You are the most talented disciple in our sect. So, for your own safety, take this talisman. Only use it if you are on the verge of death. Heavenly Spirit Talisman seals a wisp of Long Fian's soul. Can only be used once. Cannot be used in battles between players. I was ecstatic after seeing the attributes. This talisman was like having the sect leader protecting me. It gave me a lot of confidence. This was what it was like to be the sect leader's disciple. It seemed I had made the right choice. And to reward you for completing the quest, here is the top-grade chi gathering pill I promised. However, since you managed to finish the hell-level quest, I will give you one more top-grade chi gathering pill to help you break through to the late chi refining stage. I felt like I was in a dream. Thank you so much, sect leader. I will not let you down. What you are currently lacking is a sword technique. I haven't collected any sword techniques for those in the chi refining stage. However, you can find some in our sect scripture pavilion. With that, Long Fian disappeared. Before she vanished, I quickly called out to her. Sect leader, please wait. This is the first time I went out on a quest, so I wanted to bring you a gift. I couldn't afford any magical artifacts or treasures, so I bought this hairpin. I thought it was beautiful, and I hoped you'd like it. Long Fian paused when she saw the hairpin, before taking it. I will accept your gift. You should cultivate properly and diligently. Then she disappeared. Long Fian's affection towards you has increased by 5. Current affection level, 10. You have met someone with mutual interests. I chuckled. It seemed that my sect leader wasn't as cold as she appeared. It was easier to get affection from her. I was one step closer to the path of taking advantage of the sect leader. As I was leaving the main hall, I suddenly heard an explosion come from a side hall. The hall was filled with smoke and fire. I'm refining a pill and need an ingredient. Does anyone want to help me find it? Elder Tian Qing has posted a quest. Hell-level quest. Before dawn, help Elder Tian Qing find a voidine grass. Quest description. Voidine grass is the most important ingredient for refining the Zhuyan pill. This herb is extremely rare and must be found by killing the Medicine Forest Eagle in the Medicine Forest Valley. Quest hint. The nearest Medicine Forest Eagle is located in the Azure Medicine Valley. They are generally at the late chi refining to mid-foundation establishment stage. The other disciples muttered, another hell-level quest. And you have to pay to enter the Azure Medicine Valley. It's too difficult and costs money. It's better to stay hidden for now. I don't want to die right at the beginning. I pushed through the crowd and stood before Tian Qing. Elder, disciple Lin Jichen is willing to help you find the voidine grass. Tian Qing nodded, recognizing me. You're the closed-door disciple that Lang girl took in. I began to plan in my heart. This old man was the best alchemist in the sect. It was important to build a good relationship with him. It would definitely be helpful in the future. After accepting the hell-level quest from Elder Tian Qing, I immediately departed for the Azure Medicine Valley. The Azure Medicine Valley wasn't far. There were many monsters and herbs there. It was a good place for new players to collect herbs and level up. The moon was high in the sky. The valley was bathed in silver light, making the plants look like they were covered in a layer of magical gauze. I knew where the Medicine Forest Eagles were. They usually hid in areas with the most herbs. I went to the deepest part of the valley. I found a Medicine Forest Eagle nearby. But this time, the Medicine Forest Eagle was surrounded by a group of players. There were about a dozen of them, and they all seemed to be part of the same guild. They had someone directing them and others working together. However, these newbie players didn't have good coordination. They couldn't even catch a single eagle. Most of them would probably be wiped out. I decided to talk to them and see if they would give up the boss. I walked towards them. Wan Ling, it's that handsome guy. One of them recognized me. It seemed that they were from Su Wanling's guild. I knew them, so it should be easy to talk to them. I smiled. Everyone, I need the Medicine Forest Eagle to complete a quest. Can you give me the boss? The player in command turned around. Wan Ling, do you know this guy? The woman was wearing a pink dress with green accents and was holding a staff. She was clearly the leader. Su Wanling was the leader of the Moon Shadow Guild, but she was respectful towards this woman. He is the expert I told you about. He killed the Boar King and got the global notification. He also sold us some equipment and information, she added. The woman didn't show any emotion. She just nodded. Then you should talk to him. This boss is for our guild. Even if they're our friend, we can't let them have it. Su Wanling then came to me with an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Great Master. Our boss needs this medicine forest eagle for a quest. Can you wait for the next respawn? I sighed, just as I had predicted. I knew that you wouldn't give it up easily. But given your current situation, I probably don't need to wait for the next respawn. The medicine forest eagle let out a shrill screech. With a flap of its wings, it sent a cloud of yellow dust toward the players. Those who inhaled the dust began to feel dizzy. They were swaying and couldn't stand properly. The medicine forest eagle took the opportunity to charge into the air, attacking the dazed players. Its claws easily broke through a female player's defense. With a few strikes, the early Chi refining level player was killed. She turned into a wisp of soul and was sent to the respawn point. The woman with the staff began to attack the eagle. She raised her staff and chanted a spell. Earth's Embrace. The ground under the eagle turned into quicksand, trapping its claws. She then chanted another spell. The air around the eagle became incredibly hot. It was engulfed in flames, causing it to shriek in pain. But the eagle was far more powerful than her. The flames quickly disappeared, and it ripped its claws out of the quicksand. The eagle was angry. It targeted the woman, charging towards her like a shadow. Su Wanling immediately warned her, but it was too late. The eagle pierced her with its sharp beak. The woman's health dropped rapidly, but she didn't seem to panic. Instead, she retreated quickly while chanting a spell. Several rocks fell, further angering the eagle. That mage girl is an idiot. I couldn't help but comment. I can teach you how to kill this eagle, but I want the voidine grass and one more piece of equipment from the boss. Is that okay with you? The two women hesitated for a moment and then agreed. I looked at the mage and said, You're the one who has the most aggro, and yet you're still using skills that are making it angrier. You're using skills all over the place. Look at your health. You only have a sliver left. When it gets out of that rock attack, it'll kill you. That move is not used like that. You should use it with Earth's Hand to maximize the damage. Your Earth's Hand skill should be off cooldown. Use it first, then let your teammates use damage skills. Your gear is probably better than your teammates, so you should focus on crowd control while they deal the damage. The mage nodded. I see, thank you for the advice. Just as she finished speaking, a loud shout came from far away. Dozens of players appeared. The Bloodbath Guild is taking over. Stop what you're doing and leave, or you'll regret it. Hearing the Bloodbath Guild's arrival, Su Wanling became worried. The Bloodbath Guild is a big name. We don't have enough people to win. The mage shook her head firmly. We have to fight. If we give up now, we'll have to give up every time we see them in the future. Even if we lose, we won't give up our pride. We can't lose in spirit. Su Wanling nodded in agreement. The mage then looked at the boss regretfully. It's a shame about the eagle. We were almost there. Hearing this, I stepped forward. I would help them kill the eagle. However, in addition to the voidine grass, I also wanted a random piece of equipment from the boss. Really? The mage seemed slightly skeptical. I'll leave a few people to help you with the eagle. I laughed. No need. You should all go and focus on the guild battle. I can handle the eagle myself. She tried to reason with me, but I was adamant. She had no choice but to gather her teammates to fight Bloodbath. The leader of the Bloodbath Guild, Li Fengwan, laughed. Haha, you want to take on the late Chi refining level eagle all by yourself? You're dreaming. Kill them all. Teach them a lesson. The Bloodbath Guild charged. Su Wanling and her teammates also fearlessly fought back. However, there were 3 times as many members in the Bloodbath Guild. The Moon Shadow Guild was completely outmatched, with each member fighting 3 opponents. They were forced to retreat, using a defensive formation. Fortunately, the mage was holding strong. Her area damage was high. The other members tried to protect her. However, the Moon Shadow Guild situation was grim. If reinforcements didn't arrive soon, they would be wiped out. The situation was completely under the control of Bloodbath. Why are you women coming here to mess around? You should just stay in the newbie village. Haha, I'll just send them back to the newbie village now. Li Fengwan smiled triumphantly. looking at the prey he was about to slaughter. This is what happens when you mess with Bloodbath. Today, we'll teach you a lesson. With all of you gone, the boss is ours. This is perfect. Just as Li Fengwen was feeling triumphant, a global notification appeared. Congratulations to player Lin Jichin for achieving the first kill of a Qi refining level boss. You have been rewarded with 400 reputation, plus 2 innate charisma, and 1 achievement medal. Li Fengwen and his subordinates stared in disbelief, as if they had just been struck by lightning. They had lost all ability to think. I ignored them and smiled at Su Wanling. The eagle is down. Come pick up your loot. Li Fengwen snapped back to reality and shouted. He took our boss. I'm going to kill him. If he can kill a boss solo at this level, he'll be a real threat in the future. We have to kill him and take his gear before he gets too strong. If you can kill him, I'll give you a huge reward. As he said this, one of his subordinates charged at me. I'm a boxer in real life. I'm going to show him my 20 years of training. He threw a punch at my back, but I dodged without even turning around. My back seemed to have eyes. The move wasn't a skill. It was purely combat experience and intuition. In my past life, I was a law cultivator. The greatest threats I had faced were always ambushes. I'd survived countless ambushes, including some from those in the transformation stage. My senses were second to none. After being reborn, this instinct was ingrained in me. After dodging the attack, I didn't show any mercy. The moment I turned around, my crimson cloud sword slashed down, leaving a long wound on the body cultivator. Critical hit, minus 540 physical damage. Before he could even react, I hit him again, this time slicing through his neck. Throat cut, fatal hit, minus 450 physical damage. I'd killed him instantly. He didn't see anything coming, and was sent back to the newbie village as a soul. The members of the Bloodbath Guild were in disbelief. That's impossible. How can he be doing so much damage without even using skills? He must be cheating. Does this game even have cheats? I don't know much about that, so you shouldn't lie to me. I laughed coldly. Just because I don't cause trouble, doesn't mean I'm afraid of it. I don't care about your guild wars, but if you try to mess with me, you better watch out. 4 players charged at me at once. We'll take him together. He's only in the middle Qi refining stage. Don't be afraid. We can win if we work together. I was too lazy to listen to their nonsense. Killing one was the same as killing a bunch of them. I charged right into them. In a few breaths, it was like chopping vegetables. It was too easy. In an instant, they were all turned into souls. Li Fengwen, who had been watching from the sidelines, finally realized that I was trouble. He quickly ordered a retreat. We'll get our revenge later. When the battle was over, Su Wanling and the mage came to thank me. Great Master Lin, thank you so much. I waved my hand dismissively. No need to thank me. I wasn't planning on helping you. They were the ones who provoked me. Oh, and I already killed the eagle. All the loot is here. As agreed, the void-eating grass is mine, and I'll take another piece of equipment as well. As I said this, I laid out all the loot I had picked up. When they saw the amount of items, both women were stunned. They had never seen a monster drop so much loot before. The maid shook her head slightly. Mr. Lin, you killed the eagle by yourself. We have no right to these items. They're yours. I waved my hand. No, we had an agreement. You were the ones who started the fight with the eagle, and I already gained a huge advantage by stealing the first kill. I only need one piece of equipment. Since I was so persistent, she had no choice but to agree. She whispered something into Su Wanling's ear, and Su Wanling nodded before doing something with her phone. 10 seconds later, I received a notification for a 5 million transfer. She had given me 5 million without batting an eye. She was definitely rich. I didn't try to decline. I gave a simple thank you and accepted the money. The mage smiled. Her smile was like the blooming of spring flowers, truly enchanting. She reached out her hand and said, My name is Jiang Ruiyu, the leader of the Moonshadow Guild. I shook her hand and said, Lin Jichin, a loner. I suddenly had a thought. Jiang Ruiyu. That name sounds familiar. Isn't she the second greatest law cultivator in my past life? More importantly, she was the daughter of the head of the Chonghai City family. Quick, I need to absorb her wealth, I thought, as I continued to hold her hand a little longer. My behavior made Su Wanling and Jiang Ruiyu think I was trying to flirt with them. Hey, Great Master Lin, you're quite bold. You dare to take advantage of our leader. Don't think you can do whatever you want just because you're skilled. She thought I wasn't interested in women, but now that I was flirting with her boss, she realized she just wasn't beautiful enough. I chuckled and retracted my hand, explaining that I was just distracted and didn't mean to do that. Since everything is over, I'll be taking my leave. See you again, I said. Jiang Ruyu had a strange expression as she watched me leave. Her face was slightly flushed. He's a pretty good friend, she said. Su Wanling was speechless. A good friend? Ruoyu, he took advantage of you. He's clearly plotting something. Don't say things like that, Jiang Ruyu said with a smile. Let's get going too. Oh, and give 50,000 to each of the players who participated in the guild battle as a reward. They both left. The Azure Medicine Valley seemed to have returned to its previous calm, until a girl stepped out of the shadows. Her name was Lu Xiazi, the most popular female streamer in the country. She had recorded everything on her stream. My brothers, this stream was worth watching, right? Xiazi showed you a guild battle and a top player, Lin Jichen. Go ahead and hit that follow button. Lin Jichen killed a late Qi refining level boss with ease. What strength! And he's so handsome, she said, her eyes sparkling with hearts. I've decided. He's going to be my idol and my god. Meanwhile, Li Fengwen had logged out and was shocked to find that he had been recorded. After watching the video and seeing all the ridicule, he flew into a rage and smashed several antiques at home. Lin Jichen, if I see you again in this game, I swear I'll kill you. I, on the other hand, was completely unaware of all this. I took the Void Yin Grass back to the Heavenly Ice Sword sect and prepared to hand it to Elder Tianqing. Ah, you're back. Come in, please, Tianqing said, waving me in. Just put the Void Yin Grass on the table. Since you helped me find the Void Yin Grass, I must reward you. He threw me a wooden box. Inside was a bottle of pills and a bracelet. Low-grade attribute pill. Permanently increases a random battle attribute by 1 to 5 points. The attribute and point value is random. Amount, 3. Low-grade breeze bracelet. Plus 5 speed, plus 8% evasion, minus 10% skill cooldowns. Not bad. I took the box without being polite. I decided to ask him, Elder, were you refining the Zhu Yin pill earlier? In my past life, I saw a notification that Elder Tianqing had failed 99 times before finally refining the Zhu Yin pill. If I told him the recipe, maybe I could earn some favor? Tianqing sighed. Yes, I have failed more than 10 times. Without a recipe, I can only blindly try again and again. How do you know about the Zhu Yin pill? I chuckled. I'm interested in alchemy. I've read many ancient texts. I once saw this recipe. 3 grams of stone powder, 2 phoenix feathers. I continued to list the ingredients. Tianqing's expression grew more and more shocked. He knew that I wasn't lying because those were all the ingredients needed for the Zhu Yin pill. After I finished reciting the recipe, Tianqing was visibly excited. Stay here and watch. Let me know if I get any of the ratios wrong. I watched from the sidelines, correcting him whenever his measurements were off. An hour later, as the flames of the furnace died down, a rich aroma filled the room. Tianqing opened the lid. 2 perfect pills flew out. Haha, I've succeeded. You've helped me so much. Here, take one of these. Tianqing gave me one of the Zhu Yin pills. Elder Tianqing's affection towards you has increased by 20. Current affection level, 20. You have met someone with mutual interests. Earth-grade Zhu Yin pill. Permanently increases innate charisma by 5 points. Increases the rate of affection from opposite gender NPCs by 5%. Giving this to a female NPC will randomly increase her affection towards you by 10 to 20 points. I was stunned. He was incredibly generous. The Zhu Yin pill was extremely rare. Even if you knew the recipe, you needed a grandmaster alchemist like Tianqing to refine it. I had really hit the jackpot. Thank you, Elder. I'll take my leave. I wanted to give this to Lung Fian. The higher her affection towards me, the more benefits I would reap. Tianqing was pleased with me. He wanted to take me as his disciple. Wait a minute. Are you interested in alchemy? I'd like to take you as my disciple and teach you my skills. Are you willing? A potential opportunity has been triggered. Elder Tianqing wants to take you as his disciple. Do you accept? I had been waiting for this. Just as I was about to agree, I heard the voice of Lung Fian. Elder Tianqing, how could you steal my only disciple? A moment later, a beautiful figure appeared. She was wearing a white robe. In the moonlight, she looked like a dream. Just a single glance was enough to make my heart beat faster. This was Lung Fian. Her sudden arrival had surprised me and Tianqing. Tianqing chuckled. Sect leader, you've misunderstood. I wasn't trying to steal your disciple. It's just that your disciple has shown some talent for alchemy. I'm just trying to teach him my skills. But Elder Tianqing, you're not an alchemist, are you? You're a swordmaster, right? I don't have much time for alchemy. However, Elder Tianqing, do not be discouraged. My disciple is still in the early stages of cultivation. It's not good for him to be distracted right now. When he's more powerful, if he still wants to, you may take him as your disciple then. What do you say, Elder Tianqing? Lung Fian said, before looking at me. Her eyes were as calm as a still pond, but I could sense a hint of anger. I was probably just imagining things. Tianqing nodded happily. That is for the best. Very well. It's a deal. Haha. I need to continue my alchemy. You two may continue as you wish. Now it was just me and Lung Fian. Follow me back to the Sword Palace. I have something to say to you. I agreed, but I felt uneasy. It seemed like the sect leader was not in a good mood. Was she mad that I tried to become Tianqing's student? That had to be it. Lung Fian led me back to the Sword Palace. The moment we arrived, she sat on her throne, her beautiful eyes lowered. She was silent for a long time before finally speaking. Her voice was soft, but it was clear that she was upset. It seems you are not satisfied with this sect leader as your master. Maybe we should terminate our relationship, and you should seek another teacher. I was dumbfounded. Where did I go wrong? It must be because she saw me trying to become Tianqing's disciple. Sect leader, I was wrong. Please don't end our relationship. If that happens, I will have no face to remain in the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. I made a pitiful face and apologized repeatedly. However, Lung Fian was not so easily fooled. Where were you wrong? Did I even say that you did anything wrong? I looked at her with a guilty expression and replied, of course I was wrong. I was wrong for having impure thoughts. I didn't listen to your advice to focus on my training, and instead, I tried to learn alchemy, wasting time. I let you down. Lung Fian's expression softened a little. It seemed that her anger had faded. Seeing this, I immediately got down on my knees and started flattering her. Sect leader, you are the best sect leader in the world. Your cultivation is unparalleled. You're so beautiful. With a sect leader like you, why would I want to have another master? You are completely misunderstanding me. My praise made Lung Fian smile ever so slightly. Lung Fian's affection towards you has increased by 5. Current affection level, 15. You are having a pleasant conversation. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't have to worry about being kicked out. Lung Fian pretended to be magnanimous. Since you've admitted your mistake, I will let it go for now. Thank you so much, sect leader. I promise I will never make such a mistake again. I then took out the Zhuyan pill. To show my sincere apologies, please accept this small gift. Lung Fian seemed surprised to see the pill. This is a Zhuyan pill? Where did you get this pill? Elder Tianqing gave it to me. I said as I told her what had happened. Lung Fian swept her gaze over the pill. I see. You don't need to give me such a precious pill. Keep it for yourself. I was speechless. She was clearly trying to beat Sundara. I'll just give it to you again. I'll keep giving it to you until you take it. Sect leader, this Zhuyan pill was something I wanted to get for you. I wanted to learn alchemy from Elder Tianqing so that I could make a Zhuyan pill for you every day, just like a daily meal. Lung Fian couldn't help but smile. That smile was like the sudden appearance of the sun. The ice melted away. My heart skipped a beat. When she smiles, she is so defenseless. Although your heavenly beauty doesn't need a Zhuyan pill, this is my gift. Please accept it, so that I can feel better, I said. Lung Fian gave me a pretend glare, but the smile on her face was clearly growing wider. Fine, I'll accept it. Lung Fian's affection towards you has increased by 20. Current affection level, 35. You're starting to develop a close relationship. In that case, I can't accept your gift without giving anything in return, she said. I know of a level 5 sword technique that's perfect for you. It's at the chi refining stage. Come, let's go get it. I was secretly excited, bowing my head in agreement. I then noticed that the hairpin I had given her was on her sleeve. She had already put it on. I quickly took the skill and returned to my room to start practicing. This Xian grade level 5 skill was called Phoenix Ring. It unleashed 22 sword strikes, covering a 200-meter radius. There was a 30% chance of interrupting an enemy using a level 5 skill. Every sword strike dealt 600 points of damage and had a cripple effect that lasted 15 seconds. Not only was its area damage twice as high as Double Moon Slash, it also had a crippling effect that ignored the enemy's armor. This skill was simply too strong. Even among Xian grade level 5 skills, this was a top-tier skill. After learning the skill, a sweet voice called out from outside my room. "Little junior brother, are you there?" I opened the door. It was Nangongwa. "Senior sister, what brings you here so late?" Nangongwa blushed and said apologetically, "Well, I wanted to ask for your help with something small. Every disciple in the Heavenly Eye Sword sect has to complete at least 3 quests during each major realm. I haven't done any quests after reaching the late core formation stage. I feel like I'm about to break through to the golden core stage. If I don't complete these quests soon, I'll be punished by the sect." I was confused. "Senior sister, why haven't you done any quests?" She replied awkwardly, "I was too greedy. I was hiding and reading romance novels, so I forgot. I need to do a demon-slaying quest. It requires 2 people, so I need a partner. Would you be willing to help me?" I smiled and nodded. Senior sister has always taken care of me. The moment we met, she gave me a magical jade pendant. It would be wrong of me not to help. Hearing my agreement, Nangongwa was very happy. "Little junior brother, you're so kind. Don't worry, I'll protect you. You won't get hurt at all." Nangongwa's affection towards you has increased by 10. Current affection level, 25. You have a potential for a deep relationship. A potential opportunity has been triggered. Help Nangongwa complete a quest. Travel to Forgetful Village to slay a demon together. I followed her, flying over countless mountains and towns before arriving at our final destination, Forgetful Village. The entire village seemed to have been abandoned by the sun. It was cold and dark, and the smell of blood filled the air. Nangongwa frowned. The sect said that this village had been invaded by evil forces and the residents had been turned into sacrifices by a demonic cultivator. We have to kill the evil forces and find out the truth, then report it to the elders. I felt a strange sense of familiarity with this place. In the future, it would become a crystal core realm dungeon called the Blood-Ean Dungeon. I had farmed here countless times in my past life. We arrived at a dilapidated courtyard. The only things there were an old locust tree and a well covered by a stone slab. The stone slab was bound with rusty chains. It didn't seem strange, but the stench of decay was at its strongest. As we were about to investigate, the chains on the well began to twist. It sounded like snakes slithering across the ground, creating an ear-piercing noise. The well's stone slab began to move, and a thick, bloody aura surged out. It was as if something had been unsealed. The aura became more and more agitated. A streak of blood-red light shot out of the well. Nangongwa quickly pulled me behind her. "Little junior brother, don't be afraid. Senior sister will protect you." She swung her sword. The streak of red light let out a scream and disappeared into a puff of smoke. Before Nangongwa could react, a wave of red light shot out of the well. When we looked closely, we saw that it was hundreds of terrifying spirits with sharp teeth. They were screaming. Nangongwa was surprised to see so many evil spirits. It appeared that all the villagers had been turned into evil spirits by a demonic cultivator to help him cultivate. How could he do such a cruel thing? Today, I, Nangongwa, will avenge these villagers. She took a deep breath and performed a sword incantation. Her spiritual energy surged. Her sword hummed as the light danced around it. She moved like a god as she slammed into the spirits. Explosions rang out as countless evil spirits were obliterated. They were turned to dust. Nangongwa continued to kill the spirits. "Demonic cultivator, you harm innocent people. Today, I will use your life to avenge these villagers." Nangongwa flew forward, heading towards the house where the demonic cultivator was hiding. I was impressed by her bravery. Although she was only at the late core formation stage, her strength was comparable to cultivators at the golden core stage. Her aura during battle was completely different from her usual self. As Nangongwa approached the house, a black hand emerged, blocking her path. She moved back with incredible speed, barely blocking the attack. She was sent back with force, and her sword was stained by a black mark. "Senior sister, are you all right?" I asked. She shook her head. The house turned into dust, and a man with a withered face walked out. His eyes were bloodshot. I didn't think that my cultivation would attract disciples from the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. Since you've chosen death, don't blame me for sending you to hell. As he said this, he released a terrifying aura. mangaMangaCapped, and I knew that we were in trouble. It was the aura of a golden core cultivator. How was this possible? Was the sect's information wrong? No, it must be that he had just broken through. The golden core cultivator chuckled. Your insight isn't bad for someone so weak. Yes, I've just reached the golden core stage. You're the perfect sacrifices to increase my power. After turning your souls into evil spirits and using your flesh and blood to feed my banner, my power will increase. Little junior brother, stay back. I'll protect you, mangaMangaCapped said, and then she charged forward. Although her opponent was at the early golden core stage, mangaMangaCapped was an elite inner sect disciple. Her grandfather was one of the 12 elders. Her strength and magical artifacts were extraordinary. It wouldn't be impossible for her to win against someone at the early golden core stage. She levitated, her sword shining. She thrust it towards the evil spirit banner. The entire village was destroyed. I had no choice but to retreat. mangaMangaCapped was losing her patience. The man secretly tossed out a bloody gourd. The gourd dropped to the ground. The stopper fell off, and a burst of bloody energy exploded from it. The stench was 100 times more pungent than the well. The nearby plants withered upon contact with the energy. The blood began to solidify, forming a small, grotesque spirit. The spirit looked up and stared at mangaMangaCapped. Then, a black tongue shot out of its mouth. It was dozens of feet long. mangaMangaCapped was focused on the withered man. It was too late for her to react. I quickly swung my sword, slicing off the spirit's tongue. Senior sister, focus on the demonic cultivator. I'll hold this monster off. mangaMangaCapped was relieved that I had saved her. The spirit began to cry out in pain after losing its tongue. I'm going to eat your heart. I'm going to eat your liver. I'm going to eat your what? I said, before using Shadow Step and injecting my spiritual energy into my Crimson Cloud sword. My sword flashed, slicing off the spirit's head. The spirit then transformed into a swarm of blood-red bats. There were far more than should have been in a single bat colony. The bats emitted a screech that was capable of shaking one's soul. It also gave a negative curse. Bloodbat Eagle. For the next 7 seconds, the effective movement techniques is reduced by 30%. I tried to calm my mind and grasped my Crimson Cloud sword tightly. My fighting intent sword. I unleashed Phoenix Rain. The red sword light reached its maximum power, turning into rays of light that seemed to tear the sky. In an instant, all the bats were torn apart. Blood rained from the sky. The sight was like a scene from hell. This was the power of a Xian-grade weapon. It was indeed far stronger than Double Moon Slash. The battle in the sky was also coming to an end. mangaMangaCapped, at the late core formation stage, managed to defeat the early golden core cultivator. I can't accept this. Even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. The withered man tossed out a box before he died. mangaMangaCapped, thinking it was a trap, swung her sword. The box was sliced open, revealing a cloud of pink mist. Upon closer inspection, she saw that the mist was made of tiny pink bugs. mangaMangaCapped sensed danger and quickly backed away, but it was too late. A few of the bugs had already burrowed into her body. A strange energy began to spread through her body. Her skin turned red, and her eyes became glazed over. Senior sister, cover your mouth and nose. Those are charm bugs. I shouted, but it was too late. The bugs had already entered her body. Her body began to react. A strange energy spread through her. Her skin turned red, and her eyes became blurry. Little junior brother, don't look at me. She was still holding on to the last bit of her rationality. Her warning was more like a flirt. I smiled helplessly. Charm bugs are a type of insect that intensifies desire. You probably haven't encountered them before. She had lost all experience. As she looked at me, all the affection between us started to take over. It was as if she no longer had any resistance towards me. Under the effects of the charm bugs, her affection for me had increased. She was now very open to my advances. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you has increased by 20. Current affection level, 52. You have a deep connection. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you has increased by 20. Current affection level, 72. You're starting to understand each other well. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you has increased by 20. Current affection level, 92. Your bond is unbreakable. I was not smiling as I saw the notifications. The sudden increase in affection was not real. Little junior brother, please help me. I'm so uncomfortable. She collapsed into my arms, her eyes blurry and her breath hot. She was completely at my mercy. Any man would want to take advantage of her in this situation. I wanted to too, but I had to consider the consequences. mangaMangaCapped had been infected by the charm bugs and had lost her rationality. Her affection level had been temporarily boosted. While I could take advantage of her now, if she were to wake up and realize what had happened, my affection level would drop to 0. We would become strangers. Worse yet, she would see me as an enemy and try to kill me. I wasn't going to gamble my life on a night of pleasure. I had finally gotten a strong backer. I couldn't ruin things by acting recklessly. I looked at the well. The dungeon always had special elixirs. Although the well had some restrictions, it wouldn't be too difficult for someone in the core formation stage to resist it. But I was only in the chi refining stage. I pushed mangaMangaCapped away and quickly jumped into the well. Senior sister, hang in there. I'm going to find an antidote. The well was dark and damp. I couldn't see anything. I took out a torch. At the bottom of the well, there were many corpses, the remains of the villagers. The Yin energy was thick and stagnant. Sensing my presence, it began to swarm around me, trying to devour my life force. -100, -100, -100. The numbers kept popping up above my head. My health was dropping rapidly. I ignored the Yin energy and began searching for the elixir. I finally spotted a wooden box under a skeleton. I quickly moved towards it. The well then activated a spell, and a bolt of lightning formed. The lightning was dangerous. Just as it struck, I used my spiritual shield. I was protected by the aura of the jade pendant. It was enough to block the lightning. But before I could relax, another bolt of lightning was forming. And it wasn't just one. My scalp tingled. I wanted to grow wings and fly out of there. I quickly dug out the box and leaped towards the entrance of the well. But it was too high. The lightning was already chasing me. I used my second movement skill, Shadow Step, to dash upwards, getting the momentum needed to reach the entrance. Just when I thought I had escaped, a bolt of lightning shot out of the well and hit me directly. It dealt 4,000 damage. I blacked out and fell, landing on mangaMangaCapped. mangaMangaCapped was out of her mind with desire. Her clothes were all ripped. I didn't have time to enjoy her beauty. I poured all the pills from the box into her mouth. The moment I finished, I coughed up a mouthful of blood and fell into a coma. Fortunately, I landed on the soft mountains of my senior sister. It wasn't a bad way to pass out. A while later, mangaMangaCapped gradually regained consciousness. She opened her eyes and felt something heavy on her body. She looked down and saw that I was sleeping on her. My head was resting right on her chest. Her clothes were ripped and she was exposed. She thought she had been violated and began to cry. Then, she screamed and slapped me, sending me flying. You beast! Lin Jichin, I hate you. mangaMangaCapped kept crying and yelling. She couldn't believe that her junior brother had taken advantage of her. I still hadn't woken up and was still sleeping. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you has dropped to 0. mangaMangaCapped cried for a long time before she finally regained her composure. She saw the pill bottles nearby and realized that they were health potions. She began to doubt what she had thought. She recalled what I had said before. Senior sister, hang on, I'll go get an antidote. She looked at the well and the ground beside her. They were both scorched by the Yin lightning. Did I misunderstand him? Did he enter the Yin array to find the antidote? She realized that I had jumped into the well to save her. She looked at me and saw that I was on the verge of death. There was a hole in my back with burn marks from the Yin lightning. mangaMangaCapped was filled with guilt. Little junior brother, I was wrong about you. I have to go back to the sect and get my grandfather to help. Hang in there, little junior brother. mangaMangaCapped picked me up and rushed back to the sect. After a night of travel, she finally made it back to the sect by the next morning. Although she was exhausted, she continued to run towards the inner sect. Many players watched this happen. What happened? They asked. That great Master Lin is unconscious. How can he get so close to an NPC? I want that treatment. Why is senior sister Nin carrying that man? Isn't that the disciple that the sect leader took in? I think his name is Lin Jichin. Why is senior sister so close to him? This is scandalous. Senior brother. Seeing this scene, the senior brother who secretly loved mangaMangaCapped, Chu Tianhan, clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on his neck began to pop out. He was fuming with anger. mangaMangaCapped ignored the gossip. She rushed to the inner sect. I didn't know how long I was unconscious. When I woke up, I saw that I was lying on a simple bed in a clean room. "You're awake," a deep voice sounded. I looked around and saw an old man with a powerful aura. He was Elder Tian Yuan. I was attacked by the Ina Ray, but was not harmed. I must have been saved by him. I immediately got up and bowed. "Thank you for saving me. I am Lin Jichen, a disciple of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect. May I ask your name? I will never forget your kindness." The old man waved his hand dismissively. "No need for that. My name is Tian Yuan, and my surname is Nangong. I am mangaMangaCapped's grandfather." I was surprised. I hadn't expected this old man to be mangaMangaCapped's grandfather. Anyone who had Tian in their name was someone powerful. "I understand, Elder. I will never forget your help." Elder Tian Yuan then laughed. "I don't need you to remember my help. Just remember one thing. Stay away from my granddaughter. If you ever try to take advantage of my granddaughter, I will make you pay even if you're the sect leader's disciple." Just as he said this, mangaMangaCapped ran into the room, complaining about her grandfather. "Grandfather, you promised me you wouldn't say such things. Why can't you keep your promises?" The dignified elder immediately became soft and tried to appease her. "Grandpa was just joking. This young man saved you. How could I be so unreasonable?" mangaMangaCapped was finally satisfied. She then ran to my side. "Little junior brother, how are your injuries?" I was about to say something cheesy when I noticed that Elder Tian Yuan was glaring at me. I changed my mind. "Thanks to senior sister's care, I'm fine now." She stared at me, her gaze full of affection. "That's good. You were unconscious after being infected by the Een energy, so I carried you here. I asked Grandpa to help you. If the Een energy infected your heart and Dantian, you would be in serious trouble. Thank you so much, senior sister. I will never forget your kindness." mangaMangaCapped scolded me with a smile. "Why are you so polite? We're like family." "Hee, that's right." I said that, but I felt a chill down my spine. Elder Tian Yuan's gaze was terrifying. "Actually, I should be thanking you. If you hadn't jumped into the well to find the antidote, I would be in trouble. Besides, I was wrong about you. Little junior brother, I apologize. You are a true gentleman." mangaMangaCapped's words caused Elder Tian Yuan's veins to pop out. "You should shut your mouth, senior sister. If you keep going, your grandfather will want to kill me." But why was my senior sister looking at me with such affection? My affection level was 62. That was not low, but it didn't explain why she was looking at me with such passion. I checked my affection level with her and was stunned. mangaMangaCapped's affection towards you is 62. You have a deep connection. What the heck? How did her affection increase by 30 points? If this keeps up, our brother-sister relationship will be ruined. Just then, I was pulled back to reality by a cough. It was a warning. I teased mangaMangaCapped. "Your grandfather has such a bad cough. Should I find some herbs for him?" She chuckled. "He's just like that. You don't need to worry about him." Elder Tian Yuan looked extremely unhappy. He angrily flung his sleeves. "Since you're awake, follow me. I'll give you a spirit beast as a reward. After you receive it, you need to leave." "Okay." I followed Elder Tian Yuan to the back of the mountain. The back mountain was a lush, green garden with different spirit beasts. All the beasts were in their own area, preventing them from fighting. Elder Tian Yuan saw me looking around and smiled proudly. "What do you think? My beast garden is pretty good, right? It's not worse than the spirit beast sect." I gave him a thumbs up. "Elder, this beast garden is amazing." Tian Yuan wasn't satisfied with my response. "Just amazing? You've seen a better beast garden before." I was speechless. Why was this old man so competitive? I should try and provoke him a little. I might get some unexpected benefits. I've heard that the spirit beast sect has many kinds of spirit beasts. No one can compare to them, I said. Tian Yuan glared at me. "Bah, those spirit beast sect guys raise anything. They only have the advantage in numbers. My garden is known for quality. They can't compare to me." I looked around. "Forgive my bluntness, Elder, but it doesn't seem like you have a single spirit beast that is even in the foundation establishment stage." Tian Yuan's eyebrows shot up. "You little brat, how dare you look down on me? Who told you I only raise chi refining level spirit beasts? The spirit beasts in here are all at a higher level. Come, I'll show you." He grabbed my sleeve and led me into the garden. If I don't prove it to you today, I won't be able to sleep tonight. How could I be insulted by a kid like you? I was secretly delighted. This is exactly what I wanted. I thought, let me see his trump card, and then I'll figure out how to claim it for myself. The spirit beasts in here range from the chi refining stage to the foundation establishment, crystal core, golden core, and giant spirit stages. If they are any higher than that, I won't show them to you. Just one of those beasts will be enough to kill you. Do you admit defeat yet? Tian Yuan was beaming with pride. Just as he finished speaking, Ningongwei ruined his fun. Little junior brother, don't believe my grandfather. The highest level spirit beasts in his garden are at the giant spirit stage. He doesn't want to show you because he's afraid you will laugh at him. Tian Yuan's face turned red. You're always helping other people instead of me. And that spirit beast you were talking about was in the giant spirit stage? You're just making things up. Little junior brother isn't an outsider. Nan Gongwei smiled and dragged me towards the giant spirit level beast area. Little junior brother, how about that one? That's a steel-backed wolf, early giant spirit stage. It can be both a pet and a mount. And what about that one? The moonlight spirit monkey, mid-giant spirit stage. Its attack and speed are incredible. She began introducing the spirit beasts to me. Then, a small beast rolled into view. It was black and white, round and clumsy. It looked like a panda. However, in this world, it wasn't called a panda. It was called a stone iron beast. It was a mount that could devour metal and spirit stones from legends. It was very rare. With enough training, it could reach the enlightenment stage. This one was still young and had a lot of potential. It was too precious to give away. Tian Yuan refused to let it go. He didn't expect that while he was talking, Ningongwei would have already picked up the panda. A spirit beast with such potential would be perfect for the little junior brother. Here, take this. It's yours now. You just need to drop your blood on its forehead, and it'll recognize you as its master. Tian Yuan became frantic and tried to snatch it back. You little brat, give me back my stone iron beast. Ningongwei blocked him. Grandfather, you taught me to always keep my word, but you don't follow your own teachings. I've already given the stone iron beast to little junior brother. You can't change your mind. Little junior brother, hurry and drop your blood on it. Then put your palm on its forehead and feel its emotions. Communicate with its mind. Ningongwei saw me do what she said and smiled. See, grandfather? He's already dropped his blood on it. It's too late to take it back. Tian Yuan's face was twitching. He could only sigh. You are truly my good granddaughter. I picked up the stone iron beast and tried to communicate with it. However, its emotions were very hostile. You, a measly chi refining stage trash, want me to be your master? Uft. Go away. I sighed. There's no need to be so hostile. We can discuss it. If you follow me, I'll take you to the best restaurants and find all kinds of rare herbs. How about that? I knew a bit about spirit beasts from my past life. The stone iron beast was greedy. It couldn't resist the temptation of delicious food. The stone iron beast curled its lip. Uft. I've eaten everything. You think that will entice me? I chuckled. There is a secret realm in Mu Xianzhou that has a bamboo forest filled with spiritual bamboo. They're sweet, crisp, and not dry at all. Have you eaten those before? The stone iron beast's eyes widened. No. On the Isle of Penglai, to the east of Huafengzhou, there's a magical fruit called the mystic fruit. It can extend your life by 100 years if you eat just one. Have you eaten that before? I was interrupted before I could finish. The stone iron beast began to jump around excitedly. Stop talking. I'm starving. If I follow you, will I really be able to eat those things? I nodded. Of course. I keep my word. Okay. It's a deal. Master, the contract is complete. Stone iron beast cub, unnamed, early foundation establishment. Skills, rage bite, thunder, charge strike. I knew I had gotten lucky. This spirit beast had great stats. Its attack power and speed were also very high. Just then, a game announcement suddenly rang out. Announcement: 8 Desolations will be undergoing its first major update in 10 minutes. All players will be forcibly logged out. The update will take 24 hours. Please look forward to the updates. In my past life, the first major update came a month after the game was launched. Why was it so soon this time? Did that mean the game merging with reality would also come sooner? I had to quickly get back to the Sword Palace and do some AFK leveling. I hurriedly said goodbye to my senior sister. Senior sister, Thank you so much for today. I'll be going back to train now. I'll see you again in a few days. mangaManhua pulled me back, reluctant to let go. Okay, you should rest. Come visit me again in a few days. I nodded, holding the stone iron beast as I returned to my living quarters. Then, I went into AFK mode before logging out. I looked at the time after I left the game. It was my cousin Gu Qiushua's birthday tomorrow. Even if the game was not updating, I would have logged out anyway, so that I could visit her. In my past life, I was too busy spending time with Guijia and had completely ignored Gu Qiushua. In this life, I wouldn't put anything before spending time with her. Gu Qiushua and Renlan were the two girls I had most failed in my past life. Gu Qiushua was 3 years older than me. She was technically my cousin. However, our family had some complex relationships. She was my cousin in name only. When we were young, she often came over to my house. She had braces and was often bullied by other kids. They called her a monster. They called her ugly. Whenever she was bullied, I would be the one to stand up for her. I would fight with the other kids, even though I would get beaten up badly. I did it anyway. This brought us very close. She was always clinging to me, and I received all the delicious food she gave me. As we grew up, even though we lived in different cities, she would still call me every once in a while. After my parents died, she was the light in my dark days. I thought that she only treated me as a younger brother. But then I saw her diary. I realized her true feelings towards me. Her diary was filled with her love and admiration for me since university. I had been bewitched by Guijia and completely ignored Qiushua. I had even been rude to her when she called. When I finally got news about her, she was already married. Not long after, she committed suicide due to depression. Now that I thought about it, she started distancing herself after that birthday. So I had to make sure I went this time. I would also not let her go down the same path as my previous life. After getting off the plane, I took a taxi to the hospital where Gu Qiushua worked. As I passed through the corridor, heading for the gynecology department, I saw some doctors and nurses crowded around an elderly man on a stretcher. Beside the stretcher was a beautiful and elegant woman. Her name was Yang Yirong, the CEO of Yangfan Shipping Group. She was calling out anxiously, "Dad, wake up. Don't scare me. Dr. Zheng, you have to save my father." I could see that the old man was in critical condition. Using my knowledge of medicine from 8 desolations, I tapped his acupoints. Without it, he wouldn't live another hour. A moment later, the old man, who had been on the verge of death, had a pulse. He slowly opened his eyes. The doctors were shocked. "How did you do that?" "It doesn't matter. The fact that he's awake will make it easier to save him." Yang Yirong breathed a sigh of relief and grabbed me. "Little miracle doctor, can you save my father? If you can, our family will pay any price." Only spiritual herbs from 8 desolations can treat this kind of illness. Unless I wait until the game merges with reality, there was nothing I could do. I sighed. I only helped him with his acupoints. It's only temporary. Whether he can be saved depends on the operation. It's not going to be easy. He's at the end of his life. If you're lucky, he might live for another 2 weeks. Yang Yirong's expression changed. She was on the verge of breaking down. She couldn't accept what I had just told her. "Little miracle doctor, can I use your shoulder to cry on?" I couldn't say no to her in such a state. I could only say that we were born in the wrong era, just like my parents. If they could have lived until I had become a god in the game, I would have been able to save them. After crying for a while, she looked at me apologetically. "I'm sorry for messing up your clothes." I waved my hand. "It's all right, it's just a cheap piece of clothing. If you're okay, I should get going. Take care of your father and don't leave yourself any regrets." "Wait, little miracle doctor. Although you can't save my father, the fact that you bought him a few extra days is a huge favor. Here's my card and my company's card. If you ever need anything, you can call me. I'll do my best." Yang Yirong gave me a card and a business card. It was foolish to refuse free money. I accepted it without being polite. I looked at the business card and saw that she was indeed rich. "Then it's a deal. Goodbye, little miracle doctor," she said. Yang Yirong turned to leave. I sighed. I'm not little. I then went to the gynecology department. I saw Gu Qiushua standing in the hallway. When I called her name, she stopped, stunned for a moment. Her face was full of surprise and delight. I hugged her tightly, burying my head in her hair. I smelled her familiar peach scent. My heart was finally at peace. "Sister, I missed you." Gu Qiushua was flustered by my hug, but she wasn't repulsed by it. Later that day, Gu Qiuxiue and I arrived at her place. It was an old and rundown apartment in an old part of town. Are you sure you want to live here? I asked. Gu Qiuxiue smiled awkwardly. It's cheap, and it's close to my hospital. It's okay, please come in. Little Chun, you should take a shower first. I'll cook you something. Okay, I said, looking around. I felt a pang in my heart. If it wasn't for her sending me money every month, she would be able to live in a much better place. I hadn't known she was living in such a poor environment. She could have had a much better life. Gu Qiuxiue saw me looking around and asked, Little Chun, what's wrong? Did you forget your clothes? There are some in the closet. Just take what you need. I nodded and opened her closet. I saw 7 or 8 sets of men's clothing that were all my size. I bought those while I was shopping. I thought they would look good on you. I was planning to give them to you when I went back home, but you came here instead. Try them on to see if they fit. I was touched by her words. How lucky am I? After I showered and changed, Gu Qiuxiue had already finished making dinner. She had made all my favorite dishes. She was still wearing her apron and had already picked up her phone. Oh right. University is very expensive. Do you have enough money? I'll get paid in a few days. I'll transfer you some money. I immediately grabbed her hands. Sister, I have money now. I'm rich. Seeing that she didn't believe me, I showed her my phone. A few moments later, she received a message that her account had just received $1 million. Little Chen, how did you get so much money? You didn't join a money laundering gang, did you? I laughed when I saw her panicked expression. I made this money from a game. It's that new game, 8 Desolations. When she heard that, she relaxed. You can make so much money playing games. It's so easy. So, you don't need to work so hard anymore. You took care of me when I was young. Now it's my turn to take care of you. Gu Qiuxiue blushed. I don't need you to take care of me. That's all your money. I'll transfer it back to you. I pretended to be angry and stood up. Sister, are you treating me like an outsider? If that's the case, I might as well go home now. Gu Qiuxiue quickly explained herself. Of course not. Okay, then I'll help you save it for now. I immediately changed my expression and nodded with a smile. That's right. My money is your money. We don't need to be so formal. Night quickly fell. Gu Qiuxiue let me sleep on her bed. She insisted on sleeping on the sofa. I couldn't argue with her, so I went into the bedroom. I couldn't fall asleep. Her scent was all over the pillow and blanket. I got up and went to talk to her. Oh, right, sister, I wanted to tell you something. Gu Qiuxiue rubbed her eyes and said, What's the matter? Are you uncomfortable? I shook my head and sat beside her. I want you to quit your job. Gu Qiuxiue was shocked. Why do you suddenly want me to quit? You said you wanted to take care of me, but I don't need you to take care of me. I mean, you should change your job. You're too far away from me. We can only see each other every once in a while. I miss you when you're not around. If you ever encounter any trouble, I won't be able to come and help you right away. I was serious. I wasn't joking. Hearing my bold and affectionate words, Gu Qiuxiue's face turned red in the darkness. Her ears were bright red. She felt like I was different than before, but she didn't know how. Sister, you should start a new career. Join me in 8 Desolations and become a professional gamer. I reached out and held her hand. I wanted her to experience the game as soon as possible so that she could become strong and survive the upcoming merging of the 2 worlds. Think about it. You don't have to give me an answer just yet. I'm going to sleep now. The next day, Gu Qiuxiue was at work, but her mind kept imagining the events from the night before. Then, her colleagues gathered around her to wish her a happy birthday. Zhang Guangwei, who had a crush on Gu Qiuxiue, came over with a bouquet of flowers and a designer shopping bag. He said that he had booked the most luxurious private room in the city and would pay for everything. Everyone was excited and started clapping. Gu Qiuxiue looked embarrassed and waved her hands. Dr. Zhang, you don't need to do this. It's my birthday. I can't let you pay. And I wasn't planning on eating at a fancy hotel today. Zhang Guangwei handed her the flowers and shopping bag. He smiled charmingly. You know how I feel. There's no need to be so formal. He said that, but in his heart, he was thinking of ways to get her to the luxurious restaurant. He would spend $10,000 and use that opportunity to get close to her. He would then try to force himself on her. Just as Gu Qiuxiue was feeling conflicted, I arrived at her department with a chuckle. Sister Qiuxiue, why is everyone so excited? Zhang Guangwei's face darkened. He knew that his plan was being ruined. He recognized the key that I was holding. It was the key to a Ferrari. He had heard that Gu Qiushue's cousin was poor. He was surprised that he had a sports car. Dr. Zhang, you're here too. I reached out my hand to greet him, but I was secretly mocking him in my mind. Let's see what you're planning. Little Chun, that car only has 2 seats. What do we do with everyone else? Why don't you take Qiushue, and I'll take everyone else in a taxi. I'll pay for the taxi. I laughed and refused. Dr. Zhang, there's no need for that. I've already made the arrangements. The cars are here. Just then, several buses stopped in front of everyone. I invited them all to get in. I then took Gu Qiushue to my sports car. Little Chun, did you really buy this car? Gu Qiushue asked. I nodded. Yeah, it's your birthday gift. Do you like it? Gu Qiushue's head was spinning. She said angrily, like it? No, I don't. How much did it cost? I don't want it. You need to return it. I know you have money, but you shouldn't spend it like this. I chuckled. That's why you should quit your job. I'll give you all my money to manage. Then, I won't be able to spend it. Gu Qiushue was incredibly touched by my words. I'm so angry at you. Well, then I'll help you save it. I said with a smile. That's right. My money is your money. We're family. Soon after, we arrived at the top-level hotel. I praised its grandeur. Dr. Zhang, you're so generous. This is the most luxurious hotel in the capital. Zhang Guangwei's face was filled with pride. It's my duty to give my best to Qiushue on her birthday. Seeing how much he liked showing off, I decided to take advantage of it. I heard the top floor has the best view in the city. I bet the private room you booked is up there, right? Zhang Guangwei was stunned. He knew he had been tricked. He had planned on booking a room on the 2nd floor, which would only cost around $10,000. He would have to spend tens of thousands to book the top floor. Oh well, I have to get close to Gu Qiushue. It's fine to spend a little money. I can always get it back from her later. Yes, that's right. Follow me, he said. He then led everyone to the top floor. The party began. Everyone was enjoying the rare and delicious food and drinks. They were all grateful to Zhang Guangwei for his generosity. Gu Qiushue, on the other hand, couldn't relax. She felt like she owed him something. Halfway through the party, Zhang Guangwei asked a waiter to bring out a bottle of wine he had stored in the hotel. Everyone, this is a vintage wine that I've been saving for a special occasion. I wasn't planning on drinking it, but I had to bring it out for Qiushue's birthday. Everyone applauded. Zhang Guangwei opened the wine and poured it for everyone. I secretly smelled my glass. Something was off. The wine had been spiked with a drug. I would never have known it if I hadn't used the same drug to catch wild animals. I put down my glass and left the room. I have something to do, so I'll take my leave. Dr. Zhang, please take my sister home later. Zhang Guangwei was overjoyed. Little Chun, you don't have to worry about her. I'll take care of her. I nodded. I looked at her with a mocking smile. The fox is finally showing its tail, but I don't want to expose him yet. I want to make him pay in the end. After I left, Zhang Guangwei stood up and raised his glass. Everyone, let's raise our glasses for Qiushue's birthday. Everyone immediately stood up and drank. After a few drinks, they all began to feel strange. I'm feeling dizzy. I think I've had too much to drink. Me too. This wine is too strong. Zhang Guangwei was trembling with excitement. He picked Gu Qiushue up. I've finally waited for this day. I'm going to get my revenge for that slap. Gu Qiushue was barely conscious. She tried to resist. Dr. Zhang, what are you doing? Let me go. Zhang Guangwei chuckled, carrying her to a nearby room. We're going to have some fun. After putting her on the bed, he turned on the camera on his phone and began to tear her clothes off. Qiushue, I spent a lot of money for your birthday. You need to compensate me. After I sleep with you and record a video, someone as sensitive as you wouldn't dare go to the police. In the end, you'll have no choice but to marry me. Then, I can play with you whenever I want. Haha. Zhang Guangwei was about to pounce when the door was kicked open. Let her go, I said, my eyes burning with rage. Before he could react, I kicked him in the chest. He fell to the ground and curled up in pain. He couldn't even scream. The hotel staff was alerted by the noise and rushed into the room. They were stunned when they saw what was happening. I was beating the hell out of Zhang Guangwei. His face was unrecognizable. He couldn't even scream. His teeth had been knocked out. You like to force yourself on people, huh? You like to bully my sister, huh? I'll make sure you won't be able to have kids. I then kicked him in his groin. He screamed and started rolling on the floor. After venting my anger, I turned to the hotel staff. I suspect this pervert drugged the wine. Please take a sample. drug? Is that possible? The hotel staff called the police. I'll go myself, Zhang Guangwei pleaded, knowing he could not escape. I grabbed his hair and dragged him out of the room. Gu Qiuxue slowly regained consciousness and was shocked by what she saw. I quickly picked her up and comforted her. Little Chun, thank you so much. I shook my head. Sister, I should be the one thanking you. You always took care of me. Now that I've grown up, it's my turn to take care of you. The next day, I left Gu Qiuxue City and returned to my home in Zhonglin. She looked at me with reluctance and longing. Little Chun, you need to take care of yourself. I'll come to see you soon. I also hated to leave, but the game update had already been over for half a day. I had to get back quickly to keep up. After entering the game pod, I was back in the game. I woke up from my cultivation state. Level up. Late Chi refining stage. Plus 10 to all base attributes. Plus 1000 health. Plus 1000 mana. I was excited. Not bad. The update made me more powerful. I've reached the late Chi refining stage. Oh right, I haven't looked at the equipment from the Bloodbat Eagle yet. I opened my storage ring. Low-grade Chi Luo Amulet. Skill, Fire Resistance. Allows you to connect to an ally within 20 meters, restoring 100 health per second. Low-grade skill, Bloodbat Eagle Talisman. Decreases the effect of movement skills by 30%, decreases accuracy by 10%, and deals damage with a Bloodbat Shadow in a 300-meter radius for 15 seconds. Heavenly Material, Buried Sand Bone. This ordinary beast bone has absorbed the essence of the earth after being buried for hundreds of years. It has become as hard as steel. Can be used to help cultivators in the Chi refining stage break through to the foundation establishment stage, greatly increasing their stats. These were all pretty good items, especially the buried sand bone. It was exactly what I needed. To reach the foundation establishment stage, my heaven-defying fate talent required me to take the Heavenly Dao path. However, the requirements for the Heavenly Dao path were very harsh. Not only did I need 3 heavenly materials, I also needed 6 elemental spirit orbs: fire, water, thunder, wind, earth, and wood. Although I wasn't ready to reach the foundation establishment stage yet, I needed to start gathering the materials. I put the 3 items away and looked at the stone iron beast, who was sleeping soundly. I then slapped him on his head. Let's go. Time to work. The stone iron beast was very annoyed to be woken up. He reluctantly said, I'm hungry, I can't move. I didn't give him any sympathy and mocked him. How long has it been since you ate? You're such a glutton. The stone iron beast became furious. You didn't promise me that when we first met. I raised an eyebrow and flatly replied, Did I? You must be mistaken. Just as I finished speaking, I received a notification. Your pet, stone iron beast, has decreased its loyalty towards you by 10. Current loyalty, 90. Crap, I almost forgot about loyalty. I needed to keep his loyalty above 70, or he would start disobeying me. If it dropped below 50, he might even betray me. I should have remembered that. I quickly changed my tone and started to calm him down. I was just kidding. Would your master ever do that? I woke you up because I wanted to take you out to eat. The stone iron beast angrily walked towards the door. Then hurry up. While we were heading out to eat, I checked the update information. The biggest changes were the addition of new dungeons, the Nightmare Labyrinth, the Glacial Cave, and the Lion King Valley. Like the sect quests, they were divided into 5 difficulties: simple, normal, difficult, very difficult, and hell. I decided to start by clearing the Nightmare Labyrinth. It had the materials I needed to reach the foundation establishment stage, and it also had the highly sought-after Nightmare set. It was very tempting. I would not consider the other dungeons for now. Just as I was planning my next move, several figures blocked my path. I looked at them and saw that they were all wearing inner sect disciple uniforms. They were all in the foundation establishment stage. The one leading them looked at me arrogantly. You finally decided to leave the mountain. I am Wang Chuanwang. I challenge you to a duel. Our sect has a rule. If a disciple is not more than 1 major realm above you, you can challenge them to a duel. If you have no special reason to refuse, then you must accept. This is the only way for us to become stronger. I raised my eyebrows. Why should I waste my time fighting you? It wouldn't be helpful for me. Wang Chuanhuang glared at me. You must be scared. You want to run away? If you want benefits, we can bet your pets or your sect contribution. This is a rule in our sect. However, You only have 0 contribution points. If you lose, your points will become negative. Can you afford that? If your contribution points became negative, you would be kicked out of the sect. Just as he said this, a sweet voice came from behind me. It was mangaManhua. Little junior brother, don't be afraid of him. I have 60,000 contribution points. That's more than enough. I nodded with a smile, secretly delighted. Soft rice is truly the best. Wang Chu and Huang wanted to call me a gigolo, but he couldn't do anything when mangaManhua was around. He could only ask his brothers to contribute. Brothers, life is all about saving face. Help me gather some contribution points, and I will pay you back double. He collected contribution points from his teammates. They would also earn contribution points by battling others. The sect not only allowed it, they encouraged it. This was the reason why the Heavenly Eye Sword sect was full of experts. This round, the outer sect disciple, Chen Yuan, is the winner. In the middle of the platform, an elder declared a player the winner. The other players were whispering about him. Chen Yuan is so amazing. This is his 8th consecutive win. Yeah, he's undefeated. He's too powerful. He's in the late chi refining stage. His innate talent is Swordmaster, which is ranked 3rd on the talent chart. I think he will become the #1 master in the Heavenly Eye Sword sect in the future. Chen Yuan smiled confidently and stepped down. Then, the hall's elder walked over with a smile. The hall's elder was a middle-aged man with a beard. He was wearing a dark blue robe. He looked very similar to Tian Yuan. You are Chen Yuan, right? I am Nan Gongwu, the hall elder. I see that you are skilled with your sword and have great talent. I would like to take you as my disciple. Would you be willing? Chen Yuan couldn't believe that the hall elder wanted to take him as his disciple. He immediately bowed. Disciple is honored. Master, please accept my bow. Then, a soft voice came from behind him. When Chen Yuan saw mangaManhua for the first time, he was stunned. It was love at first sight. mangaManhua smiled. Yue, what are you doing here? mangaManhua smiled. I came here to cheer on my little junior brother. mangaManhua thought she was talking about Chen Yuan. How did you know that I accepted Chen Yuan as my disciple? It's great. You should get to know him. Chen Yuan's face turned red. Junior brother Chen Yuan greets senior sister. mangaManhua frowned. Father, you're mistaken. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about junior brother Lin. Just then, Wang Chu and Huang and I arrived. mangaManhua sized me up, his expression cold. His fatherly instinct told him that there was something more than just a senior-junior brother relationship between me and his daughter. This kid used some kind of trick to bewitch her, he thought. I'll have him battle Chen Yuan. Let me see what makes him so special. Under mangaManhua's signal, Chen Yuan stood up, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Lin Jichen, I've wanted to challenge you for a long time. I hadn't even battled Wang Chu and Huang yet. Now another one wanted to fight me. And it was the #1 sword cultivator from my past life. I waved my hand dismissively. I'm sorry, I don't have time. I've already accepted his challenge. mangaManhua was interested. Isn't that Wang Chu and Huang from the Foundation establishment stage? You can refuse him. The rules said that those who were of a higher stage could challenge a lower stage cultivator, but the lower stage cultivator could refuse. Wang Chu and Huang hadn't mentioned it before because he wanted to make sure that I wouldn't refuse him. I chuckled. I know, but senior brother Wang is very generous with his contribution points. I'll be kind enough to accept. mangaManhua thought I was being too arrogant. He sat down and waited for me to get my face smashed in. A moment later, Wang Chu and Huang and I went up to the platform. Wang Chu and Huang smiled contemptuously. Little junior brother, since you're so confident, I'll show you my power today. He drew his sword. In an instant, he appeared right in front of me. I was ready for it. I used Shadow Step and instantly disappeared. I reappeared behind him. He sensed danger and tried to defend, but he was too late. I pierced his back and immediately retreated. Wang Chu and Huang looked very unhappy. That was my mistake, he shouted, releasing his aura. He then used the level 5 skill, Phantom Hammer, sending a purple sword light towards me. I was ready. I parried his sword and immediately unleashed Double Moon Slash. Wang Chu and Huang was hit and was knocked off the platform. He landed on the floor, severely injured. This round, the winner is Lin Jichen. mangaManhua jumped up and down, happy for me. She asked her father, I told you, little junior brother is great. What do you have to say now? mangaManhua was stunned. This kid is far more talented than I expected. This silly girl is completely infatuated with him. He shook his head and left. The entire duel was recorded and uploaded to the web, causing a huge stir. I had gained even more popularity. Qin Yuan was in shock after seeing my display of skill. He wasn't even confident that he could survive 10 attacks from me. He was filled with self-doubt. But then, he quickly composed himself. He walked up to me. I admit that I am not as good as you, but I believe I will surpass you one day. Just wait and see. He then left. I admired his spirit. That's the future #1 sword cultivator, Qin Yuan. That's why he is so special. But I will be the #1 sword cultivator this time around. Little junior brother, you have become more powerful. Nan Gongwei came over and congratulated me. I chuckled. It's only because senior sister is so powerful. If I don't push myself to become stronger, I'll have to rely on you forever. Nan Gongwei pouted. Is it wrong to rely on me? You don't like me anymore? I quickly explained, of course not. I just want to be the one who protects you, so that I can finally face your father and grandfather with confidence. Hearing this, Nan Gongwei blushed. She thought I wanted to ask her father for her hand in marriage. I don't care about your level. I'm sure my father and grandfather will support me as long as I like you. She fidgeted nervously with her fingers. Looking at her beauty, I couldn't help but swallow. I suddenly remembered that I could engage in physical contact with an NPC with over 60 affection. I was thinking about giving it a try, but it was too embarrassing to do it in public. I want to invite senior sister to Fengxiu City to watch a play, admire the flowers, and enjoy the moon. Would you be willing? Nan Gongwei blushed even more. She immediately understood my intent. This is a date, but it's so sudden. It's okay, but my father is coming back soon. I might not be able to get out. I encouraged her. It's okay, just say that you're doing a quest. Okay, I'll go back now. I'll come find you later, she said, before quickly leaving. A date with senior sister. I can't wait. As I was leaving the platform, Su Wanling came over with her teammates. Great Master Lin, you're so strong. You can even beat those in the foundation establishment stage. I replied politely. It's all right. What can I do for you? Su Wanling got straight to the point. The Moon Shadow Guild wants to ask for your help to clear the Lion King Valley dungeon on difficult mode. I shook my head. No way. It's not possible. Su Wanling was shocked. Why not? You can ask for anything you want. I explained, Lion King Valley is a team-based dungeon. It doesn't rely on individual strength. Instead, it depends on the team's average strength. You need to have an average level of at least the mid-chi refining stage to clear it. There's nothing that I can do. Su Wanling didn't doubt my words. She knew I wouldn't lie to her. How about the Night Cry Ghost Valley then? Night Cry Ghost Valley is a bit more difficult, but it's still possible. Su Wanling's eyes lit up. Can you lead us? What are your requirements? I scratched my head and asked my real question. Has your guild leader participated? Su Wanling looked at me suspiciously. Lin Jichen, are you trying to flirt with our leader? Let me warn you, you better not have any bad thoughts about our leader. If her father finds out, you'll be in big trouble. I smirked and put on an innocent face. How much trouble could I be in? She can't kill me, can she? Besides, I don't have any ulterior motives for her. I just want to borrow some money. Just then, the head of the Everything Guild, Wang Jinghao, walked over with a smile. Brother Lin, I finally found you. Can you help me clear a dungeon? I'll pay you 3 million. How about it? I didn't want to help Wang Jinghao, but I also didn't want to cause any trouble right now. So, I used Su Wanling as a shield. Brother Wang, I'm sorry. I'm going to help my girlfriend with a dungeon. I've already promised her. Right, honey? I promise that if you help me, I'll go out with you. Su Wanling was stunned. She was forced to nod. I took Su Wanling and quickly left. Wang Jinghao was enraged. It's that woman again. She's blocked me twice now. Just you wait. A while later, Su Wanling and I arrived at the entrance of the Night Cry Ghost Valley dungeon. The area was crowded with players from different sections. It looked like a market. Su Wanling led me through the crowds to a group of beautiful women. Jiang Ruoyu was among them. She was even more eye-catching than the others. She radiated an unmatched aura. Mr. Lin, thank you so much for coming. You can ask for anything. I didn't stand on ceremony. I have 3 conditions. First, I want to be in charge. When we enter the dungeon, you have to do whatever I say. Second, I want all the sword cultivator gear and items needed for Heavenly Dao Foundation establishment. Third, and this is a personal request, I want to borrow some spiritual stones. How many can she lend me? Jiang Ruoyu frowned slightly. Spiritual stones were too valuable to her guild. Their price was currently 1 to 180 compared to real-world currency. Seeing her hesitation, I spoke again. Don't worry, it's not for free. If you lend me something, I'll pay you back 130% within 5 days. Jiang Ruoyu considered for a moment and nodded. Okay, I'll lend you 50,000. I immediately received a transfer notification. Okay, I'll pay you back in 5 days. Let's clear the dungeon first. Jiang Ruoyu readily agreed and invited me into her party. She made me the party leader. The Nightcry Ghost Valley dungeon was a team-based dungeon. It could only hold a maximum of 5 people. The other 2 members were a mid-chi refining level healer named Chao Shiying and a late chi refining level body cultivator named Li Jinzi. I then led them into the dungeon. At the entrance, there was a ranking board showing the progress of different guilds. Most of them were doing the difficult mode. We had chosen to do the hell mode. The moment we entered, Su Wanling cried out, "Why is it hell mode? Great Master Lin, you must have chosen the wrong mode." I shook my head. Nightcry Ghost Valley isn't that hard. It's about coordination and dealing with the hordes of elite monsters. As long as we take care of that, it will be easy. Just follow me, and you'll all be fine. The dungeon was a graveyard filled with tombstones. It was dark and cold. The wind was strong. Broken lanterns hung from broken houses. The whole place was creepy. This place is so scary. Chao Shiying cried out. I hate scary things. Su Wanling tried to comfort her. It's okay, you're just watching a movie. It's not real. Then, Jiang Ruoyu spoke. Wanling, there's a hand on your foot. Su Wanling jumped, but when she looked down, she saw nothing. I hate it when you tease me. Jiang Ruoyu smiled. I sighed. Are we here to farm or to sightsee? After we passed the graveyard and approached the house, the door slowly opened. A hunchbacked man with torn clothes emerged. He had a missing eye and a crooked mouth. He was covered in scars. Another 5 people coming to die, he said in a raspy voice. Just leave, and you'll spare your lives. This place is too dangerous. No one can survive except me. The 3 girls were terrified. Even the body cultivator was scared. She hid behind Su Wanling. Jiang Ruoyu, on the other hand, seemed unaffected. I ignored the old man and started heading up the mountain. Wait, young man, the old man shouted. If you have to go, could you do me a favor? I smiled. Speak, you're finally getting to the point. I didn't want to waste time talking with him. 20 years ago, my wife was killed here by an evil spirit. I became the guard of this graveyard, hoping to find something of hers. Unfortunately, I'm too weak to go up the mountain. If you find a white handkerchief on your way, please bring it to me, and I will give you 2 pieces of Xin-grade equipment. The old man gave us a quest. I smiled and agreed. It was easy to get 2 Xin-grade equipment for just a handkerchief. Thank you. I'll be waiting for you at the bottom of the mountain. The old man then returned to his house. I led my team towards the mountain. As we were walking, the wind suddenly picked up. Ghosts started appearing everywhere. They all charged at us. There are so many ghosts. There must be dozens of them. Su Wanling cried out in fear. This is hell mode. There's going to be a lot of ghosts. Everyone, fight back. Jiang Ruoyu said as she performed a fire spell. The ghosts near her were set on fire. Li Jinzi, the body cultivator, was punching the ghosts. I, on the other hand, was instantly killing the ghosts with a single arrow. The ghosts were quickly defeated, but for some reason, the girls barely received any loot. I, on the other hand, had loot dropping everywhere, including equipment. The 4 girls looked at each other, confused. Great Master Lin, what grade is your aura? I calmly replied, that's a secret. Just then, a huge ghost appeared again. I instantly killed it with a single arrow. A white handkerchief fell down after it was destroyed. Su Wanling immediately suggested, why don't we just go back and turn in the quest? Even if we fail, we'll get 2 Xin-grade equipment. I shook my head. That won't work. If you could do that, people would just farm for that instead of clearing the dungeon. To clear the dungeon, you need to keep up with me. We continued to climb the mountain. The temperature was much lower, and the air was full of energy. My life is so difficult. A somber voice echoed from somewhere. We looked around and saw a woman hanging from a tree. Her eyes were open, and tears of blood flowed down her face. My life is so difficult, she said. The ground around us started to shake. The ghosts all around us started screaming. The scene was so terrifying that Su Wanling and Chao Shiying were both paralyzed with fear. They had never seen anything so scary before. Just then, skeletal hands reached up from the ground, grabbing our feet and pulling us down. I immediately fired an arrow. It passed right through the ghost. She disappeared and then reappeared right behind me, sitting on my shoulders. She gently stroked my cheek. "You're so handsome. Do you want to be my ghost husband? You could become a ghost cultivator and engage in dual cultivation with me. Your cultivation will increase faster than ever." I was at a loss for words. I had never been seduced by a ghost before. "Shut up. I'm not going to become a ghost cultivator." The ghost's expression turned cold. "If you don't want to, then I'll kill you. I'll take your soul, whether you like it or not." She then released her ghostly aura. Countless hair-like tendrils grew from the ground. They were like black snakes with poisonous tips. "I'll suck. Suck." The hair started attacking me. I immediately swung my sword, cutting all the hair. "Everyone, follow me." Upon hearing my command, Jiang Ruoyu immediately began to give orders. "Su Wanling, help Great Master Lin attack. Li Jinzi, focus on crowd control. Chao Shiying, stay back. Everyone, attack." The four women began their assault. Li Jinzi, being a body cultivator, was the first to reach the female ghost. She kicked her in the head. The ghost was sent flying, crashing into me. I was ready and had already charged up my sword. The ghost screamed and tried to grab my sword with her hair. Just then, Su Wanling jumped in and slashed off the ghost's hair. Before the ghost could react, my crimson cloud sword sliced through her chest, killing her instantly. The four women rejoiced after seeing that we had killed the ghost. When they saw the items that dropped, they became excited once more. "Oh my god. It must be because Great Master Lin is so lucky. We got so much equipment. If this was the real world, he would be a millionaire. Buying a lottery ticket is not as good as getting equipment in 8 desolations. A few low-grade items would be worth more than the first prize." Jiang Ruoyu smiled. "Mr. Lin, you can pick the items first. You can take anything you want." I wasn't polite, picking 2 items for myself. A gauntlet and a sword technique. Low-grade Nightcry Gauntlet, plus 5 strength, plus 3 critical hit, plus 5 defense. Skill, Spirit Palm Strike. Low-grade level 5 skill, Bone Sword Chi. Every third attack hits the enemy. A sword chi will be left behind. After 2 minutes, you can choose to detonate it, dealing 150 points of damage. The damage is stackable. We moved to the top of the mountain. On the edge of the cliff was a hunchbacked man looking at the moon. We recognized him immediately. It was the old man from the bottom of the mountain. "He's up there. We've completed your quest. Here's your handkerchief." Su Wanling was excited and ran towards the old man, but I quickly pulled her back. "Wait, you're just going to get yourself killed," I said. She didn't understand. "Why? What do you mean?" I nodded towards the old man. "Why would he be here? Where's the boss?" Su Wanling was shocked. "Are you saying that old man is the boss? He just wanted us to complete his quest so we wouldn't fight him right away." Jiang Ruoyu finally understood. "So, he gave us the quest to trick us?" I nodded. "That's the biggest trap of this dungeon. Many players have fallen for it. The experienced players don't bother with the quest and go straight to the boss battle. If they do that, they won't be able to kill the female ghost and won't get the extra reward." Jiang Ruoyu was impressed. "Thank you so much, Mr. Lin. If it weren't for you, we would have lost out on a lot of rewards." As she was saying this, the old man stood up. "You're here. Did you find what I asked for? Just give it to me, and I'll give you 2 Shin-grade items." I ignored him and swung my sword. The attack hit him. He dodged, but he was still hit. He then revealed his true form. His skin turned into a cocoon, his limbs became spider-like. The hunched-over old man was actually the Nightcry Ghost King. He unleashed a blast of black energy, transforming it into a swarm of bats that blotted out the sky. The sight was terrifying. For newbie players like Su Wanling, it was the first time they had seen something so powerful. They were trembling with fear. I quickly stepped in and started killing the bats. "Chao Shiying, use your skill to block the bats," I shouted. Hearing my order, she quickly used a defensive skill, blocking the bats. "You guys deal with the bats, I'll take care of the boss." I used a flash skill to get behind the Nightcry Ghost King. The 2-meter-tall giant looked intimidating, but I knew he was a law cultivator, and I was very good at killing law cultivators. I charged at him. When I was close enough, I unleashed my sword. The blade sliced through the king's body. Law cultivators were weak at close combat. With the help of my swift wind sword technique, I was attacking at an increasingly fast speed. My blade was like a falling leaf, leaving countless wounds on the king. The Ghost King was furious. He transformed into black mist and moved away. I didn't let him get away. I used Shadow Step and told the girls to attack. They began unleashing their skills: Earth's Hand, Rock Fall, Body Punch, and Flame Slash. While the attacks didn't do much damage, they were enough to slow him down. Taking the opportunity, I unleashed Phoenix Rain, sending dozens of sword strikes towards the Ghost King, dealing tons of damage and activating a 30% silence effect. The Ghost King couldn't resist the attacks. Then, I released the Stone Iron Beast from its pet space. It's up to you now. If you kill him, I'll take you to eat bamboo later. The Stone Iron Beast became excited. It lunged at the Ghost King. It bit the king's neck, killing it. The Ghost King died, leaving behind a soul. I ignored the loot and focused on the Stone Iron Beast. It's so cute. Let me pet it. I looked at the soul. The items that dropped were all Law Cultivator equipment. Oh well, I'll just take the Heavenly Material and the Spirit Herb. With the Buried Sand Bone, I had gathered 2 Heavenly Materials. I was just missing one, and the 6 Spirit Orbs to reach the Foundation Establishment stage. Just then, a global announcement appeared. Congratulations to the Moon Shadow Guild for being the first to clear the Night Cry Ghost Valley dungeon on Hell mode with a perfect rating. The entire guild will receive 1,500 extra cultivation points. Jiang Ruoyu came to me and said, "Mr. Lin, thank you so much. Thanks to you, we got all this Law Cultivator equipment. I'm willing to pay you for them." I shook my head. No need. As agreed, the loot is yours. Besides, I didn't lose out on anything. Well, I'll be going now. You should also leave before you get surrounded by players asking for advice. I waved goodbye and left. After leaving the dungeon, I contacted Wang Jinghao. I was going to scam him. Wang Jinghao was happy to hear from me. He put on a fake smile. "Brother Lin, why did you call?" I pretended to be apologetic. "I'm so sorry that I couldn't help you, Brother Wang. I feel bad." Wang Jinghao replied with a fake smile. "It's okay. Finding a wife is more important. However, since you helped the Moon Shadow Guild, can you help my guild too?" I sighed. "Brother Wang, it's not that I don't want to. It's that my wife won't allow it. She said the Everything Guild is always competing with the Moon Shadow Guild. If I help you, she'll be mad at me." "I'm sorry, Wanling." "President Jiang, I'll make it up to you." Wang Jinghao's face darkened. He wanted to kill Su Wanling. I changed the subject. "Brother Wang, how about this? While I can't help you, I can give you a guide for Night Cry Ghost Valley. How about 8,000 spiritual stones?" Wang Jinghao's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. His guild barely had 20,000 spiritual stones. "Fine, it's a worthwhile risk. I'll transfer it to you now." After he transferred the stones, I gave him the guide. The Hell-level Night Cry Ghost Valley. The evil spirits are not the main threat. The Ghost King is the hardest part. I was sure that Wang Jinghao would be destroyed when he tried to clear it. After completing the trade, I used my money to buy a ton of poison resistance medicine from the shop in Fengxiu City. "Boss lady, give me all your poison resistance medicine," I said. The boss lady's eyes lit up when she saw my money. She came over with a seductive smile. "Oh, handsome, you're so good at making money. How about we open a shop together? Then, you and I can both be owners." I hesitated for a moment. Max Charisma definitely had many benefits. I was always unlocking new situations. "I'm sorry, boss lady. I'm not interested. I want to become the strongest sword cultivator," I said. The boss lady's face fell. "Oh well." She then gave me my order. "Come back to see me when you have some time." I nodded and waved goodbye before sweeping through the entire city, buying every single poison resistance potion. I had acquired over 200,000 bottles. The other players didn't know yet that the poison resistance potion was the key to clearing the Lion King Valley dungeon. Without it, players would be poisoned, and the dungeon would be impossible to clear. I would sell my potions for a high price, making even more money. Now that my cultivation was maxed, I needed the 6 elemental orbs to reach the Foundation Establishment stage. I needed to find a place to farm. I then went to the first place where I could obtain an orb, the Scorched Lands. The Scorched Lands was a volcanic area. Lava spewed out of the volcanoes. The air was incredibly hot. It was impossible for ordinary creatures to survive here. But it was a blessed place for fire spirit beasts and fire cultivators. A strange bug with a red shell popped out. It had 2 pincer-like arms. I dodged the attack and chopped off its pincers with 2 arrows. The fire pincer bug realized I was too much for it and tried to run away. I quickly chased after it and killed it with 2 more arrows. The bug left behind 2 spiritual stones and a fire spirit shard. It contained a small amount of fire energy. If I collected 50 shards, I could combine them into a complete fire spirit orb. These shards did not have the highest purity. For high-purity fire energy, I needed to find the boss of the Burning Lands. I found a hidden cave. "Come out and die, you weasels," I shouted. A red light appeared, and a three-tailed firefox ran out of the cave. "Who are you calling a weasel?" Three-tailed firefox, boss level, late chi refining stage. Skills, swallowtail flames, wind tiger claws, fox burrow. I chuckled. I didn't think you'd be so sensitive to your resemblance to a weasel. The furious firefox released its skill. It swung its tails, firing out 3 balls of flame. The flames grew, turning into a wall of fire. However, my speed was too great for the flames to touch me. "You didn't like being called a weasel, and now you're trying to burn me." I moved like lightning, my sword flashing towards the firefox's throat. The firefox frantically swung its claws, sending 3 claw attacks towards me. I dodged the claws and stabbed my sword into the firefox's belly. The firefox screamed and transformed into its true form, charging at me. I snickered and released the stone iron beast. "This is your food. You shouldn't be a vegetarian yet, right?" The stone iron beast had been hungry for days. It wouldn't let such a good meal escape. It chased after the firefox and bit its neck. The fox tried to struggle, but it was futile. In the end, the firefox bled to death and was devoured by the stone iron beast. It left behind a soul orb, a 100% purity fire orb, and a low-grade level 5 skill, Fire Fist. I happily took the loot and continued to other areas to collect the remaining 5 elemental orbs. After 2 days, I had finally collected the water, fire, thunder, earth, wind, and wood orbs. Just then, my phone rang, and I was forced to log out of the game. It was Renlan. Her voice was as cheerful as ever. "Haha, little Lin, school's out. Come help me move my stuff. I'm coming to your place for break." I agreed and quickly headed over. She was a fitness fanatic. She could help me make a workout plan. I needed to improve my strength within 5 years, as the world would soon be at war. It was a 10-minute walk to the school. I waited at the entrance of her dorm building. She was already waiting for me. "What took you so long?" "I can't wait to get back to my game pod. My stuff is all up to you." I sighed as I took her suitcase. It was unbelievably heavy. It was filled with exercise equipment, easily over 100 pounds. "Did you ask your parents? Aren't they going to force you back home?" "No. I told them that I was going on vacation with a friend. She'll cover for me. If they find out, I'll be in trouble." "Stop complaining, little Lin. How do you play this game?" She had already logged into 8 desolations. I explained the differences between the 4 classes. After listening, she chose to be a body cultivator. She loved to solve her problems with her fist. After selecting her hairstyle, she entered the newbie area. "Mortal, I will lead you on the path to immortality," said Manhwa. Renlan's eyes sparkled. "Manhwa is so beautiful." Manhwa then gave her a blessing. "Congratulations. You have obtained the innate talent, Unmoving King. You can select your starting point." Renlan looked at the map, unsure of which place to choose. Then, I appeared and explained, "The starting point is based on your class. Yongning is the best for law, Yuewa is the best for healers, Muxian is the best for chi, and Huafeng is the best for body cultivators." When she saw me, Renlan smiled and said, "Little Lin, you look so good in that outfit." I smiled and asked her about her innate talent. She showed me the Unmoving King title. Max her strength. +5 strength and defense on every level up. +10% body cultivator skill damage. +20% body cultivator talent. I was shocked. The talent was perfect for body cultivators. Only 2 people in my past life had Unmoving King. One was 3rd and the other was 7th in the overall rankings. "You're so lucky. What are you going to do now? Go and do the newbie quests?" I shook my head. "Not yet. Let's go to Fengxiu City first. We need to sell some items for spiritual stones." After we got to Fengxiu City, we sold all of our loot and equipment. We then went to the potion shops. There was not a single bottle of poison-resistance medicine left. I said, "How about this? I have a lot of poison-resistance potions. How about 8 spiritual stones per bottle?" If they agreed, I would make 16 times my money. They looked at each other for a moment and then agreed. Soon, word spread about the poison-resistance potions and players from all over the city flocked to me. "Everyone, calm down. I have a lot of potions here. Just form a line." As I was busy selling, I heard a familiar voice. "Lin Jichen." I turned around and saw Guojie. She was acting all sweet. "I saw your name on the game ranking." At first, I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect you to be so good at this game. In her heart, she was thinking that I had finally opened my eyes. She needed to be sweet to me so that I could give her some potions and carry her in the game. But I knew what she was up to. She wanted free potions. Guojie tried to grab my hand. Jichin, have you forgotten what I told you? You said you only had feelings for me. Why are you playing with Renlan? Before I could reply, Renlan hugged me and put me in a headlock. I'm sorry, but everything he said to you is in the past. From now on, please stay away from him. He's my boyfriend. I was almost choked, but I was also enjoying the soft and bouncy things next to my face. The pain suddenly disappeared. Renlan's announcement shocked Guojie. Renlan, I know your father is the school principal, but I'm not afraid of you. Jichin is still my boyfriend. You should watch your behavior. I interrupted her before she could finish. We're over. Guojie was shocked. She pretended to look heartbroken. Lin Jichin, why? Why? I said coldly. You know why. You were flirting with Su Zikie. You even gave him the candy that you made for me. Do you think I don't know anything? Guojie's lips trembled, trying to argue. It's a misunderstanding. Let me explain. I took out the photos and shoved them in her face. Guojie's face paled as she fell silent. Oh, and I need to correct something. I'm not his girlfriend. I'm his fiancée. We're getting married soon. Renlan blushed. Little Lin, you. Okay, Guojie, can you please leave? You're disturbing our business. I said. And stop trying to affect our business. Guojie's face was red and pale. She then left. All right, Lin Jichin and Renlan. You two will pay for this. The day went by quickly. Although I made a lot of money, it was a waste of time. I gave Renlan some spiritual stones, use these to buy some equipment. Go to the Huafeng State and complete the newbie quests. Don't accept the random quests. Go straight to the boxing hall. There's an opportunity there. After warning Renlan, I headed towards the center of Finsu City. The Qianlong royal family controlled Muxianzhou. With my reputation, I could probably get some land to open a potion shop. I needed to buy some land now, before the price became too expensive. Just then, I heard someone calling out for help. I turned around and saw a girl in royal clothing running towards me. Kind sir, I am a princess from the Qianlong royal family. Could you please take a message to my father in Finsu City? Tell him that I was attacked by the people of the Ghost Soul Hall. A potential opportunity has been triggered. The Qianlong royal family princess is asking for your help. Do you accept? I was immediately excited. There was a scenario in the game about a Qianlong royal princess being hunted by a demonic sect. She would eventually die at the hands of a demonic cultivator. Why are you running around at this time of the night? The princess, Ji Tongyin, said with teary eyes, we were attacked by demonic cultivators. I got separated from my guards. I've been running ever since. I quickly protected her. A large group of people appeared. They were all wearing black robes, and they all had a demonic aura. How dare you chase after a Qianlong princess? You're all courting death. The leader of the demonic cultivators sneered, looking at me with disdain. You're such a fool. Do you know who we are? Since you want to be a hero, then today is the day you die. I didn't hesitate. I tore my heavenly spirit talisman. The moment I tore the talisman, the entire forest began to tremble. A terrifying aura appeared. The black-robed figures trembled. The pressure was so intense that they felt like their hearts were about to explode. Then, a beautiful woman appeared in the sky. Her face was as beautiful as a goddess, and she was as cold as ice. A single glance from her was enough to make anyone feel like they were insignificant. This was Ling Fian. Even though it was just her spirit, she still brought an overwhelming sense of pressure. Who dares to harm my disciple? I immediately puffed out my chest and pointed at the black-robed figures. Sect leader, it's them. They are all demonic cultivators. They wanted to kill me and said that you would lose your only disciple. You would be alone for the rest of your life. The black-robed figures were stunned, but Lung Fian believed what I said. You dare harm my disciple? You should all go to hell. She waved her sleeves, and the black-robed figures were instantly turned to dust. Sect leader, you're so amazing. You're the best, I said, flattering her. Long Fian looked at me. Seeing that I was unharmed, she relaxed. Disciple, why are you here? Why haven't you returned to the sect? You don't want to come back. I immediately stammered. I wouldn't dare. I was just going to the Qianlong Royal Palace to get some land to open a shop so that I could buy gifts for you, sect leader. Since that's the case, you can go. But make it quick. Here, take this talisman. If you need anything, you can always contact me. With that, Her spirit faded into thin air. The princess was grateful for my help. Thank you so much for saving me. The Qianlong royal family will never forget your kindness. You have successfully saved the Qianlong royal family's eldest princess. You have gained a strong affinity with the Qianlong royal family. Your reputation in all cities of Mu Xianzhou has increased by 50. I was overjoyed. Now I could easily get the land I needed in Fengxiu City. It is a righteous person's duty to help others, I said. You're too humble. It's a fact that you saved me. I waved my hand. Good and evil are at odds, and we must continue to fight. Ji Tongyin's affection towards you has increased to 15. You are having a pleasant conversation. Ji Tongyin's attitude towards you is now respect. Would you mind escorting me back to the palace? My father would love to meet you. Of course, I would be happy to, I said. I escorted Ji Tongyin back to the palace. It was even more magnificent than I imagined. As we arrived at the main hall, the third prince of the Qianlong royal family, Jichen, was waiting for us. He smiled. I heard that a disciple of the Heavenly Eye Sword sect saved my sister. Ji Tongyin happily called out to her brother. I bowed. I am the disciple you were speaking about. Thank you for your help. You have saved my sister. You may ask for anything that you want. Actually, I did have one thing in mind. I was hoping to receive some land from you to open a shop. Haha, that's easy. I have a shop in the city that I will gift to you. He tossed me a bamboo scroll. After seeing the information on the scroll, I was overjoyed. Thank you so much, Your Highness. I thought, this location is great. This is a win.
Like and comment for part 3.